Chapter 229. It was obvious that there wouldn't be any results in a short period of time after the order was given. Even the blood jade pill, which had the lowest value, required extremely precious materials. It was enough to bankrupt a spirit refining realm expert. Xing Hui naturally didn't think that he could gather all the materials for the blood jade pill in a few days. After spending 6 days to deal with the matters of the Life League, he returned to the Primal Chaos Divine Palace and entered the Sky Dome realm. Since he had a token of the Refining God Pavilion, he naturally had to make full use of it as soon as possible. Only when his mental strength reached the 60th level and with the help of some primordial spirit chi would he be able to freely guide the sword intent within the broken sword and refine his mental strength, causing it to increase once again. This is the exclusive token of Zhongjin Exalted. I really envy you for being valued by Zhongjin Exalted. When the guard of the Refining God Pavilion saw the token that Xing Hui handed over, he looked at Xing Hui and said sincerely, "It's all thanks to Zhongjin Exalted. I will remember Exalted's kindness in my heart." Xing Hui nodded slightly in response. Then hurry up and cultivate. Your current cultivation is nothing to Zhongjin Exalted. Even a follower of Zhongjin Exalted is probably at the 3rd or 4th level of the Saint Realm. If you want to be of help to Zhongjin Exalted, you have to at least cultivate a divine ability and become an almighty. I understand. I will do my best. Alright, I will open the Refining God Pavilion for you now. Xing Hui nodded. After the guard opened the Refining God Pavilion, he stepped into the Refining God Pavilion again. He walked to the condensing light sword with ease and picked it up again. Originally, the effect of the condensing light sword on his spirit was no longer significant. However, as esteemed Zhu Zhao poured all of his understanding of the torch dragon sword into the condensing light sword, this divine sword once again displayed an extraordinary effect. Xing Hui held this sword and compared it with the sword intent in his mind that he had comprehended after raising his comprehension to level 5. For a moment, countless sparks of inspiration collided in his mind. During this period of time, Qing Su had read countless cultivation manuals and experiences related to the Torch Dragon bloodline. His understanding of the Torch Dragon bloodline surpassed over 90% of the Torch Dragon bloodline cultivators. In particular, he had inherited all of these experiences from Venerable Zhu Zhao. When it came to theoretical knowledge, he was not that much weaker than ancestor Pasua, who was a great figure. His accumulation could be said to be extremely profound. Furthermore, while he was tempering his mind, his sword path talent also exerted force, causing the sword intent in his spiritual world to change again. It went from the peak of the small mastery to the great mastery. The changes in his sword intent immediately led to an increase in his spirit level, causing him to be able to feel his spirit level increasing at all times. A month passed by quickly. Still unsatisfied, Xing Hui had to leave the Refining God Pavilion. In just a month's time, his spiritual level had been tempered to the 61st level, and he had completely stepped into the 60th level. Originally, I thought that cultivating in the Refining God Pavilion this time would be good enough if I could raise my mental strength to level 60. I might even be limited to level 59. However, I didn't expect that at the crucial moment, my sword intent would actually step into the realm of great success. Under the guidance of my sword intent, my mental strength broke through the barrier of level 60 and was even tempered to level 61. My gains are remarkable. However, the efficiency of the Refining God Pavilion will be much lower in the future. I estimate that the next time I come to the Refining God Pavilion, I might not even be able to raise my mental strength by 1 level in a month, Xing Hui analyzed in his mind. Although the many treasured swords in the Refining God Pavilion still had a tempering effect on his divine soul, the effect was not as good as before. It was better to use the sword intent in the broken sword to temper his own sword intent. However, if he wanted to use the broken sword to temper his own sword intent, the first thing he could not avoid was the lack of primordial spirit chi. It should be known that primordial spirit chi was not only difficult to find in the eastern wilderness, it could also be sold at a high price in the infinite wasteland region. This kind of similar material was almost the same as the universal currency, such as the carrier of Tao. The price difference would not be caused by geographical location. After completing his cultivation in the Refining God Pavilion, Tsing-Hui went to where Zhangzhen Shengren was. He wanted to express his gratitude for the Refining God Pavilion token that he had given him. Unfortunately, he still did not see Zhangzhen Shengren. Since he could not see him, Tsing-Hui naturally could not buy the drop of phoenix blood essence from Zhangzhen Shengren. For a moment, he had the idea to buy the green phoenix blood essence from the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce. The reason he purchased the phoenix blood essence was for Naylan Fei's cultivation, and also to repay the favor he owed her back then. Naylan Fei herself had awakened the Blue Wan bloodline. Even though the Blue Wan and the Phoenix were close relatives, and the Phoenix blood essence was more precious than the Blue Wan blood essence, to Naylan Fei, the Blue Wan blood essence that was compatible with her bloodline was instead better than the Phoenix blood essence. At present, there are only 8 carrier of Tao left. Unless I go to the Infinite Wasteland region to deliver goods for the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce and buy some treasures at the same time, there is not much point in going to the Infinite Wasteland region. It is better to calm down and cultivate the technique of transforming vital energy into virtual energy. When I have cultivated the technique to the small success level, I can use the medicinal power of the blood jade powder to begin refining the candle dragon blood. Tsing-Hui left the Chaos Temple and returned to the Life League. Considering that the day of exchange for the divine weapon was approaching, Tsing-Hui did not do anything in the following period of time. Instead, he focused all his energy on the cultivation of the technique of transforming vital energy into virtual energy. Relying on the recovery characteristic of rank 6, his cultivation of the technique of transforming vital energy into virtual energy was extremely fast. Although it had not even been a month, he had already touched the door of this secret technique. He could faintly restrain his aura of the green netherworld realm to that of the spirit refining realm. Of course, as long as he made a move, the power of the green netherworld realm expert would still be exposed. Just as Qing Su was trying to figure out how to control the power of wind and clouds when Qing Su struck out, Ling Yu appeared outside Qing Su's cultivation room. She said politely, "Alliance Master, the vice leaders, elders, and even many of the attendants have all arrived at the Moon Full Palace. They're waiting for you, Alliance Master." Oh. Tsing-Hui quickly understood that the day of exchange for the carrier of Tao that he had been looking forward to for a long time had finally arrived. Immediately, he gathered his thoughts and walked towards the Full Moon Palace's meeting hall under Ling Yu's lead. Currently, there were more than 100 Spirit Chi Uniting Realm Elders in the Life League. Moreover, there would be powerful islands leading their subordinates to express their respect and loyalty every once in a while, causing the number of people in the Life League to constantly increase. Not only were the elders of the Life League qualified to participate in this exchange meeting, even the deacons were qualified to participate. As a result, there were more than 600 people in the meeting hall, making it seem like there were a lot of talents. As Tsing-Hui stepped into the hall under Ling Yu's lead, the deacons and elders who were originally discussing stopped talking at the same time. When Tsing-Hui sat on the Alliance leader's throne, everyone saluted in unison, "Greetings to the Alliance leader. We wish the Alliance leader good health and longevity. No need for formalities." Tsing-Hui raised his hand. "Thank you, Alliance leader." After everyone stood up and stood in their respective positions, Tsing-Hui went straight to the point. "I believe everyone should understand the purpose of me summoning all of you here today. This matter has been publicized in the Life League for several months. Today is the last day of the exchange. In order to prove that I have the ability to satisfy all of your requests," as Tsing-Hui spoke, he waved his hand and 10 low-grade 5th-grade divine weapons appeared in front of everyone's eyes. These are 10 low-grade 5th-grade divine weapons. Sabers, spears, swords, halberds, everything you need. Seeing Tsing-Hui take out the 10 low-grade 5th-grade divine weapons, the eyes of the Spirit Chi Uniting Realm Elders, True Chi Realm, and Spirit Refining Realm Deacons instantly lit up. They were all only at the 4th level of the Eternal Life Realm, the 3rd level of the Eternal Life Realm, or even the 2nd level of the Eternal Life Realm. Moreover, most of them were independent cultivators, so they never had the chance to come into contact with these top weapons. When they saw Qing Su take out 10 Class 5 low-quality weapons in one go, their eyes widened. "Alliance leader, I have a treasure with me. It has been verified that there is a trace of Tao in it. I am willing to exchange it for a low-grade 5th-grade spear." A late-stage spirit refining realm deacon could not wait to step forward and say, "Don't be impatient." Xing Hui looked at the late-stage spirit refining realm deacon and smiled. "This is just the beginning. Don't be impatient. Moreover, I can promise you that as long as you use the Tao item to exchange for a divine weapon, unless you are willing, no one will be able to force you to hand it over. Even if a Vice Alliance leader comes out personally, there will be no exception." As he spoke, his gaze swept across the Moon Lake Lord, Zhuo Shao, Yuan Fei, Maha Sect leader, and the others. Immediately, the higher-ups of the Life League expressed their stance. This scene fell into the eyes of those cultivators who were worried that the divine weapons they exchanged for would be taken away. Immediately, they heaved a sigh of relief. "It's just a low-grade 5th-grade divine weapon." Xing Hui glanced at the elders and deacons of the Life League and smiled faintly. "For today's exchange, not only have I prepared a low-grade 5th-grade divine weapon, I have also prepared a mid-grade 5th-grade divine weapon, a high-grade 5th-grade divine weapon." As he spoke, a set of 10 divine weapons appeared in front of everyone's eyes. The elders' eyes became brighter and brighter. Even Zuluo Divine Mother and the other Qingming realm experts were tempted. They could not wait to exchange their Tao items with Xing Hui. Not only that, Xing Hui looked as if he would not stop until he said something shocking. With a wave of his hand, 10 divine weapons appeared in front of everyone again. "Who wants to test the grades of these divine weapons?" Xing Hui's gaze swept across everyone. Many of the elders and deacons of the Life League seemed to have understood the meaning behind Xing Hui's words. Instantly, they stopped breathing. Could these divine weapons be? Let me try. Finally, the Heavenly Devil Cult Master stepped forward. After bowing to Xing Hui, he quickly chose one of the battle sabers. As he held the battle saber in his hand and injected his true qi, a terrifying saber aura exploded from the battle saber. 6th-grade divine weapon. Zhuo Shao, who felt the power of the saber aura, screamed uncontrollably. 6th-grade divine weapon. 6th-grade divine weapon. This is a 6th-grade divine weapon. Chapter 230. Level 6 Divine Weapons. It really is a level 6 divine weapon. This kind of power can only belong to a level 6 divine weapon. 10 low-grade level 6 divine weapons, oh my god. Alliance Master. Alliance Master actually found 10 low-grade level 6 divine weapons. Other than the 10 great sacred sects, which other force can take out so many divine weapons? The other elders and deacons couldn't help but shout excitedly, and the scene fell into chaos. Silence. Seeing that the chaos was not going to end, Lin Yu hurriedly channeled her true qi and shouted. The powerful sound waves instantly made the excited elders and deacons tremble, and they quickly calmed down. However, they still stared fervently at the battle knife in the Heavenly Devil Cult Master's hand, and their gazes were filled with passion as they moved back and forth between the 10 level 6 divine weapons Xing Hui took out. 6th level lower grade divine weapon. Alliance Head, you actually have 10 6th level lower grade divine weapons. The Heavenly Devil Cult Master held the battle knife in his hand, looking like he couldn't bear to part with it. Xing Hui saw everyone's reaction and laughed. Just 10 low-grade level 6 divine weapons are enough to make all of you lose your composure. Then, as he spoke, he waved his hand, and 10 mid-grade level 6 divine weapons appeared at the same time. Where are the 10 mid-grade level 6 divine weapons? Not only that, after taking out the 10 mid-grade level 6 divine weapons, he waved his hand again. What about the 10 upper-grade level 6 divine weapons? 6 upper-grade level 6 divine weapons. Many elders looked at the divine weapons Xing Hui took out one by one, and they were all stunned by the huge amount of information in front of them. Alliance Master, are you saying that these are all mid-grade level 6 and upper-grade level 6 divine weapons? If you don't believe me, why don't you let someone try? Yu Xianchen, Zhu Kong Holy Mother, the two of you, each take one and try. Xing Hui named 2 people as he spoke. The Moon Lake Master and Zhu Luo Divine Mother, who had been waiting impatiently for a long time, stepped forward at the same time, holding a mid-grade 6th level divine weapon and a high-grade 6th level divine weapon. They poured their chi into them, and the sharpness of the divine weapons was fully activated. For a moment, the fierce killing intent roared in the hall, forcing the Spirit and Chi Unity Realm Elders to retreat. The Spirit Refining and True Chi Realm Deacons to retreat. However, although they were intimidated by the sharpness of these level 6 divine weapons and had no choice but to retreat, their gazes towards those divine weapons were filled with passion. This was especially true for some of the elders and deacons who didn't have any Dao-carrying items. At this moment, their hearts were filled with regret. Other than these divine weapons, I also have armors and flying swords of the same grade. As long as you have enough Daoist rhymes, I can exchange them for you. Xing Hui said. Flying sword? Armor? Hierarch Mahakasayapa, who had been silent all this time, suddenly stepped forward and asked excitedly, "You have 6th-tier high-grade flying swords and armor?" Of course. As soon as Xing Hui finished speaking, he grabbed the air and a 6th-tier high-grade flying sword appeared in his hand. With a thought, the flying sword whistled through the hall with an ear-piercing sound. It's actually a 6th-tier high-grade divine weapon. May I ask, what's the exchange price for these 6th-tier treasures? That's right, Alliance Leader. How do we exchange for these divine weapons? Dao-carrying items can only be encountered by chance. May I know what kind of contribution we need to make in order to receive a divine weapon from Alliance Leader? For a moment, the Spirit and Chi Unity Realm cultivators of the Life League couldn't wait to ask. Since this is the benefit I'm giving you, I'll naturally give you the best price. 1 Daoist rhyme for a 5th-tier low-grade divine weapon. A 6th-tier low-grade divine weapon will only cost 10 Daoist rhymes. Even a 6th-tier high-grade divine weapon will only cost 40 Daoist rhymes. However, the price of a flying sword is usually higher than a divine weapon. If anyone really needs it, I can exchange it for 100 Daoist rhymes. A 6th-tier high-grade flying sword will cost 100 Daoist rhymes, a 6th-tier high-grade divine weapon will cost 40 Daoist rhymes. A strange look flashed across Sect Master Maha's eyes. Alliance Leader, if I have 20 Daoist rhymes, can I exchange it for a 6th-tier mid-grade divine weapon? Of course. Xing Hui looked at Sect Master Maha in surprise. I just happen to have 20 Daoist rhymes in my hands. Alliance Leader, please check it. When Sect Master Maha heard this, he couldn't care less about the joy on his face. He quickly went forward and took out 5 to 6 small items and presented them to Xing Hui. Oh. Xing Hui's eyes lit up as he quickly handed over the few Daoist rhymes. As he came into contact with these Daoist rhymes, the Chaos Shrine's notification sounded in his mind. These 6 items contained exactly 20 Daoist rhymes. Great! Maha, which of these 10 6th-tier mid-grade divine weapons do you like? Feel free to choose. After obtaining the Daoist rhymes with 20 Daoist rhymes, Xing Hui was very happy. With a wave of his hand, he pushed all 10 6th-tier divine weapons to Sect Master Maha. Sect Master Maha suppressed his excitement and quickly went forward to take a glove-like divine weapon in his hand. I like this divine weapon. Thank you, Alliance Leader, for giving it to me. You have obtained so many Daoist rhymes for me. This is the reward you deserve. Xing Hui said with a smile. Seeing that Sect Master Maha actually used 20 Daoist rhymes to exchange for a 6th-tier mid-grade divine weapon, everyone was excited. They all went forward and said, Alliance Leader, I have 3 Daoist rhymes. I am willing to exchange it for a 5th-tier low-grade armor. I also have 4 Daoist rhymes. I wonder if I can exchange it for a 5th-tier high-grade divine weapon. I want a flying sword. If I can have a 5th-tier flying sword, even if it is a 5th-tier low-grade flying sword, I will be able to protect myself even if I have to face a green netherworld realm expert in the future. Looking at the people of the Life League who came forward to offer their Daoist rhymes, Xing Hui was very surprised. He did not expect to receive so many Daoist rhymes in the end. However, after thinking about it, he understood something. After all, there were only a few traveling merchants who came across the sea. They might not even come across one in a few decades. Even if these traveling merchants came, they would only trade with the 10 Saint sects and would not set up their trading points overseas. However, these cultivators were afraid of the 10 Saint sects and did not dare to step into the inland. Even if they wanted to exchange their Taoist rhymes for treasures that they were satisfied with, they could not do so. As time passed, they naturally accumulated a lot of treasures. Now that Xinghui had unified almost half of the overseas region, if he took out so many divine weapons as a temptation, it was almost equivalent to collecting all the Taoist rhymes that had been accumulated in the overseas region for decades. That was why he could obtain so many treasures. Thinking of this, Xinghui smiled and said, "One by one, don't be in a hurry." Then, everyone came forward and exchanged their Taoist rhymes with the divine weapons in Xinghui's hands. There were 14 people who exchanged their Taoist rhymes. Although most of them only had a few points of Taoist rhymes, many little drops make an ocean. In addition to the 20 points of Taoist rhymes contributed by the sect master Maha, Jian Wushuang received a total of 54 points of Taoist rhymes after the exchange was completed. Including the 8 points of Taoist rhymes that he still had, his total Taoist rhymes had reached 62 points. When they saw all the elders and deacons obtain the divine weapons that they desired and their combat strength increase greatly, the eyes of all the elders turned red with envy. All of them made up their minds to return to the powers they belonged to. Even if they had to dig 3 feet into the ground, they would gather all the treasures that carried the Tao within their territories and exchange them for treasures that they were satisfied with. Elders and deacons who didn't get the divine weapons that they were satisfied with, don't worry. I will ask Ling Yu to implement the contribution point system in the Life League. For every 100 contribution points, you can exchange for a divine weapon that is worth 1 Taoist rhyme. In addition to the Taoist rhymes, I also need to collect some natural treasures, such as the Fruit of Fate, the Sword Jade, the Dragon's Beard Grass, and so on. Please help me to keep an eye out for these things. If you can collect them, I will reward you handsomely with divine weapons. Xinghui looked at the Life League's people who felt sorry for them and said with a faint smile. Alliance Master, don't worry. When we return, we will give the order to do our best to collect these natural treasures. I seem to have seen a treasure recorded in the prescription. It is worth 30 contribution points. I will go back and collect it now. From today onwards, we'll definitely do our best to strengthen the Life Alliance. The elders and deacons expressed their opinions one after another. Looking at their expressions, Xinghui nodded secretly. Interest was the most fundamental core of a force. Only when everyone's interests were tied together could a force truly be considered stable. Just when the Life League's people were united, Ling Yu, who had been standing at the side, suddenly took out her communication jade charm. When she saw the message from the communication jade charm, her expression changed slightly. She ignored the atmosphere and came to Xinghui's side directly. Alliance Master, the Blood Dragon King is coming with his men. The Blood Dragon King? Xinghui was stunned, but he didn't panic. It had been more than half a year, and he had already broken through to the Green Hell realm. Even if the Blood Dragon King didn't come to deal with him, he would still go to the Blood Dragon King's Hall of Blood. Since they are coming, I am looking for him. Where is he now? As the Life League is holding the exchange ceremony today, many elders and deacons are gathered on Moon Lake Island. The defense is weak, and we only noticed them when they were 60 kilometers into the Life League's territory. Judging by their speed, I am afraid they will be here soon, oh. As Xinghui spoke, he suddenly sensed something and looked out of the meeting hall. At the end of the void outside the meeting hall, a blood-red sword light tore through the clouds rapidly like a rolling dragon and shuttled down. Before the person arrived, a burst of deafening laughter could be heard from afar. Ha ha ha, I heard that the Life League is holding a treasure exchange ceremony today. You don't have to waste your time exchanging for these treasures. From today on, all the treasures in the Life League, including the entire Life League, will belong to me. In the future, there will be no Alliance Master in the Life League. You will only follow the orders of one person, and that is me. Anyone who disobeys will die. Chapter 231. Blood Dragon King. It's the Blood Dragon King that led the Hall of Blood to fight against the experts of the 10 Saint sects. Half a year ago, the Blood Wyrm King's emissary tried to threaten the Life Moon Alliance, but we refused to let him in. It's just that the overseas region has been peaceful for the past half a year. The organization that the Blood Wyrm King belongs to has put a lot of effort into rebuilding their organization due to the tsunami attack, so they have no time to invade the Life Moon Alliance. I thought this matter was over, but I didn't expect the Blood Wyrm King to bring people here personally. Seeing the Blood Dragon King with blood-red sword light in the air, the elders in the meeting hall were in an uproar. However, unlike in the past, when they heard the Blood Dragon King's name, they didn't panic. Although the elders and deacons were nervous about the Blood Dragon King's arrival, none of them ran away. Not to mention the level 9 Xuanwu, who had signed an equal contract with the Life Moon Alliance and became the Life Moon Alliance's guardian sacred beast, the Alliance Master of the Life Moon Alliance, who had cultivated divine grade Gang Qi and stepped into the Green Hell realm, possessed fighting power that wasn't inferior to the Blood Dragon King. Since the Blood Dragon King was coming aggressively, it was hard to say who would have the upper hand in the end. Alliance Master, I'll go forward and draw out his divine art. Ling Yu immediately requested to fight. The Maha Sect Master, Heavenly Devil Cult Master, Zhua Xiao, Moon Lake Master, and the rest reacted quickly. They cupped their hands and asked for instructions. Alliance Master, we're willing to do our part in fighting against the Blood Dragon King. We're willing to follow the Life Moon Alliance and fight to the death. Many elders and deacons shouted at the same time and quickly calmed themselves down. Obviously, compared to before, after understanding how powerful Xing Hui was and the bright future that Xing Hui could bring them, they didn't care about the Blood Dragon King anymore. Xing Hui glanced at the people from the Life Moon Alliance and nodded at their performance. However, in response to their request for battle, he waved his hand. No need. It's just a small Blood Dragon King. How can the Life Moon Alliance mobilize so many people? I can deal with it alone. As soon as Xing Hui finished speaking, he stepped out of the meeting hall and arrived at the square outside the meeting hall. At this time, the Blood Dragon King arrived on his sword. He looked down at the full moon palace. His blood-red cape fluttered in the wind, making him look majestic. Huh! The Blood Dragon King's expression changed slightly when he saw the many Spirit Unity Realm elders, Zhua Xiao, Moon Lake Master, Zhu Luo Holy Mother, Maha Cult Master, and many other famous Green Netherworld Realm experts walking out under Xing Hui's lead. These people, after knowing that the Blood Wyrm King had arrived, they didn't panic at all. Instead, some of them stared at him like he was their prey. This was completely different from what he had expected. In his opinion, the Life League was a loose organization without any unity. Although there were many experts in it, and there were more than 100 experts in the unity of Divine and Qi realm, as long as he, the famous king of the Sea Islands, came personally, with his power and influence, the Life League would immediately fall into chaos. In this way, even if the force behind him was not as strong as the Life League, it would not be difficult for him to defeat the Life League. However, now, it seems that I, the Blood Dragon King, have left the coastal area for too long. As a result, these stupid island masters have forgotten how terrifying I am. The Blood Dragon King stared at the elders and deacons of the Life League, who stared back at him without showing any signs of weakness. His expression gradually turned cold. At this moment, there was a level 4 flying magic weapon in the void. At the same time, a few figures appeared from the level 4 flying magic weapon. They were Spiritual Master Tian Peng and the other Green Netherworld Realm experts. However, compared to the Life League behind Xing Hui, their lineup was undoubtedly weaker. No matter if it was in terms of quantity or quality, they couldn't be compared to Ling Yu, Maha Cult Master, Heavenly Devil Cult Master, and the others. Cho Xing Hui, is it? Half a year ago, you dared to chase away the emissary I sent. How should I punish you? The Blood Dragon King stared at Xing Hui and had a plan in his mind. It was obviously impossible to start an all-out war. The Life League wasn't as scattered as he had imagined. If they really started an all-out war, even if they won, they wouldn't be able to escape the fate of suffering heavy losses. Therefore, he could only set his sights on the Alliance Master, Xing Hui. To shoot a man, shoot the horse first. To capture the bandits, capture the leader first. As long as he could defeat and kill Xing Hui, the Life League would be leaderless. With his reputation as the Blood Dragon King, he could still easily subdue them. Buzz buzz. The true qi on Xing Hui's body dissipated as he controlled the qi of heaven and earth around him. Soon, he floated into the void and was at the same level as the Blood Dragon King. However, although Blue Netherworld realm experts could use qi manipulation to fly, under the senses of the Green Ruins, this level of flying ability and agility was nowhere near comparable to sword manipulation. Moreover, the consumption of true qi was several times greater than sword manipulation, so there was no need for that. Then, the flying sword flowing fire appeared under his feet. Cho Xing Hui, are you deaf? I'm talking to you. Can't you hear me? Seeing how Qing Su ignored his question and instead rose up to face him as an equal, a vicious gleam of light immediately flashed through the king's eyes as he scolded sternly. How many years had it been since someone in the overseas world dared to be so rude in front of him? Blood Dragon King, right? Your name has been well known for a long time. The Life League is in need of talents now. I'll give you a chance. If you surrender to the Life League, I can give you the position of an elder. Otherwise. How dare you? How dare you talk to our king like that? You. Before Xing Hui could finish his words, a middle-aged man behind the Blood Dragon King, who was in the syncretism realm, had already shouted. Eh. As a cold light flashed in Xing Hui's eyes, in the next moment, a sword light swept through the void and burst out. It tore the air billows apart at an unimaginable speed. How dare you? Seeing that Xing Hui had attacked with his sword, the Blood Dragon King reacted and waved his hand in an attempt to catch the flying sword that burst out. However, he was still too slow. He could only watch as the flying sword shot past him and pierced through the syncretism realm elder who had spoken. You. Looking at the middle-aged man whose expression froze and fell to the ground, the Blood Dragon King's eyes were filled with unprecedented anger. In the next moment, a terrifying aura that far surpassed the green hell realm erupted from his body. Boundless vitality soared from his back and transformed into a crimson dragon. The moment it appeared, the wind and clouds stirred. Sacred skill. The Blood Dragon King, who was furious, activated the sacred skill and pushed his ability to the immortality realm level 6. How dare you kill the people from the Hall of Blood? Die! The Blood Dragon King, who had activated the sacred skill, roared and suddenly pounced on Xing Hui. As he moved, the crimson dragon above his head also pounced on him with a mighty and ferocious aura. Before the shadow arrived, the power of the wind and clouds that it stirred and the terrifying aura that it emitted made many elders and deacons, who had heard of the Blood Dragon King's name since they were young, turn pale. Among them, Madame Zhu Yu, Dan Tating, Wu Yu, and the others who were loyal to Xing Hui could not help but shout, "Chief, be careful. It's just a dragon. Even if it mutated into a blood dragon, so what? I came from the Dragon Slayer Island, and there's the word, Dragon Slayer, in it. Today, I'll slay you, the Blood Dragon King." Buzz buzz. Xing Hui did not even use the sacred skill, but the divine sword in his hand was already raised high. After the sharp edge of the sword rose to its peak, it also gave birth to the shadow of a divine dragon. Most of the divine dragon's shadow was hidden in the void, making it difficult for people to see it clearly. However, the tip of the iceberg that was faintly emitted a terrifying aura that was not inferior to the blood dragon above the Blood Dragon King's head. Under the enhancement of the divine weapon in his hand, the divine dragon's shadow that was hidden in the void was even more noble, mysterious, and terrifying than the Blood Dragon King's blood dragon's shadow. Boom! As the Blood Dragon King attacked, the two dragon-shaped shadows brazenly collided in the void. Xing Hui's sword aura stirred, and the divine dragon's shadow that could not be seen clearly seemed to come alive. With a low roar, the sharp claws that were hidden in the void suddenly grabbed the blood dragon's body and easily tore a large number of wounds on the blood dragon's body. The blood dragon, which was almost torn to pieces, roared angrily and pounced on the divine dragon's shadow in a futile attempt to counterattack. It's useless. Slash. Xing Hui slashed down with the divine weapon in his hand. Endless sword aura burst out and evolved into the divine dragon's claws and divine skills, causing the divine dragon's shadow to almost have a one-sided advantage in the battle. The blood dragon, which had finally recovered its broken body with the infusion of the blood dragon king's vital chi, was once again caught by the divine dragon's shadow and torn to pieces before it had time to use the means it should have. Damn it. You definitely don't have such powerful strength. That divine sword. That divine sword. It's at least an 8th level divine sword. The Blood Dragon King roared angrily. The mighty attack that he had launched was actually easily shattered by the sword aura formed by Xing Hui's divine sword. He immediately twisted his body and evaded the sword aura that was tens of thousands of feet long, and pounced on Xing Hui. The blood dragon in the void twisted its body as the Blood Dragon King evaded the attack of the divine sword aura. At the same time, it swung its tail to avoid the divine dragon's shadow. Terrifying energy swept over with the power of thunder and fiercely slapped Xing Hui's body, as if it was going to smash Xing Hui into pieces. Oh no! League leader is in danger. Everyone in the Life League became nervous at the same time. However, in the next second, the incomparably nervous faces of the crowd had already been replaced by shock. Xing Hui did not move, but the gang qi on his body suddenly appeared and enveloped him like a shield. On the surface of the gang qi, there seemed to be golden dragons that exuded mighty power swimming around. Under the protection of this layer of dragon-shaped gang qi, the moment the Blood Dragon King's powerful attack hit the layer of gang qi, it was like glass hitting steel. It was shattered by the golden gang qi on the surface of Xing Hui's body. Xing Hui, who was under the protection of the golden gang qi, was not injured at all, other than being sent flying more than 10 meters back by the power of the attack. Even the layer of golden gang qi on the surface of his body, which was like a scorching sun, had only dimmed a little. From the looks of it, unless he was directly hit by the Blood Dragon King more than 10 times, the Blood Dragon King would not even be able to break through the defense of his armor. Chapter 232. How could this be? Seeing how he had managed to avoid the sharpness of Qing Su's sword after so much difficulty and land a direct strike, yet he was unable to even penetrate his opponent's protective aura, the Blood Serpent King immediately became dumbfounded. Even if you awakened the most defensive bloodline and cultivated to the Green Hell Realm, you still need a defensive armor of level 8 and above to completely block my attack. In the entire continent, other than the Create-Evolve Mysterious Sect and the Wuji Sword Sect, the number of experts who have level 8 armor can be counted with one hand. I don't believe that you, a small leader of the Life Alliance, can obtain such a divine weapon. The Blood Serpent King was a dominating figure beyond the sea. He had even clashed with the 10 sacred sects in the past, so he returned to his senses very soon. Rousing himself, he roared out and launched another attack at the Green Ruins. Let's stop here. After Xing Hui found out the true ability of the Blood Wyrm King, he had already lost the thought of continuing to fight with him. Possessing a high-grade 9th level divine weapon, high-grade 9th level armor, high-grade 9th level flying sword, in addition to his cultivation of the 5th level of the Illuminating Sun Sutra, his battle strength was not inferior to any 6th level Longevity Realm prominent divine stage expert. Even if the prominent divine stage expert was at the peak, as long as he did not reveal his battle physique, he would not be afraid of him at all. Next. Divine skill, Rumble. Xing Hui's thoughts changed, and in the next moment, the aura on his body suddenly surged. Endless sword radiance shot up from the divine sword in his hand and turned into a sword aura dragon. In an instant, it tore apart all the clouds within a radius of a few thousand meters. It was like a real dragon that was formed by pure sword aura. It roared and emitted a mighty divine aura. Wherever the divine aura reached, the world would be suppressed. Even though he had yet to attack, the suffocating sword aura had already made the people from the Life Alliance, including the Blood Wyrm King, and the people from the Hall of Blood widen their eyes. This is divine skill. Divine skill. You're actually a son of chaos who has mastered the divine skill. The Blood Wyrm King, who originally had the courage to fight with Tsing Hui, felt a chill run down his spine after sensing the change in Tsing Hui's aura. Divine art. The Alliance Master also knows divine arts, and he's also a high-level son of chaos. Compared to the Bloodhorn Dragon King who felt as if he had fallen into an ice cave, the elders and deacons of the Life League could not help but be pleasantly surprised. I should have guessed that since the Alliance Master is doing his best to collect the Tao vessel, he must be a son of chaos. Moreover, his chaos level is definitely not too low. Haha, that's great. The Alliance Master has already awakened the bloodline of a divine beast and stepped into the green nether realm with divine-grade stellar energy as the foundation. His battle prowess is close to that of a vision saint expert. Now that he has the divine technique. In the entire Eastern Wasteland, other than those invincible saint experts, who can be called the Alliance Master's opponent. This is the Alliance Master's true strength. Who dares to underestimate the leader of the Life Alliance? Who would dare stand out? Invincible. With the ability that the Alliance Master has shown, he can definitely move unhindered in the sea and be invincible. Many elders shouted excitedly at the same time. Everyone looked at Tsing Hui with eyes full of fanaticism. The strong were respected, worshipped the strong, and followed the strong. This had always been the law of survival overseas. Go quickly. Seeing that Tsing Hui had used the divine technique, the Bloodhorn Dragon King lost all his fighting spirit. He roared and turned into a bright bloody light, wanting to escape. Do you think the Life League is a place where you can come and go as you please? Stay. After using the divine technique, Tsing Hui felt that his strength had soared to an unprecedented level. He might not be able to fight against Xuanyangzi who had revealed his divine body with just the divine technique, but with the level 9 divine sword and level 9 armor in his hand, even if he faced Xuanyangzi who had revealed his divine body, Tsing Hui dared to fight head-on without hesitation. Dragon's Bite. As Tsing Hui slashed out with his sword, the towering dragon formed by sword chi in the void suddenly roared. It swept up a monstrous aura and came crashing down. Wherever the tip of the sword went, the clouds were torn apart. The Bloodhorn Dragon King, who was trying to escape, had no power to resist at all. The layer of bloody clouds around him had been swallowed by the sword chi dragon and turned into dust. Even the Bloodhorn Dragon King, who was in the middle of the bloody clouds, was about to be torn into pieces by the sword chi dragon. Stop! Stop! Alliance Master Tsing Hui, please stop. The Hall of Blood is willing to submit to you. The Bloodhorn Dragon King's panicked screams came from the bloody clouds covered by the sword chi dragon. However, Tsing Hui was determined to show his true strength and achieve the goal of making an example out of the Bloodhorn Dragon King. He wanted to step on the Bloodhorn Dragon King's corpse and let everyone in the sea of Bloodhorn Dragon King spread his name. Therefore, his sword did not stop at all. The sword chi dragon instantly attacked the Bloodhorn Dragon King's body and crushed the layer of bloody mist on the Bloodhorn Dragon King's body. The Bloodhorn Dragon King, who had roamed the sea of Bloodhorn Dragon King for hundreds of years and managed to escape from the 10 sacred sects, died on the spot. After killing the Bloodhorn Dragon King with irresistible force, Tsing Hui looked around. There was no need for him to say anything. The experts of the Hall of Blood who came with the Bloodhorn Dragon King were already trembling. They immediately knelt down and shouted, "We surrender! We surrender! We are willing to surrender to Alliance Master Tsing Hui. We beg Alliance Master Tsing Hui to give us a way out. We beg Alliance Master Tsing Hui to spare our lives." We will follow you everywhere and do our best to help Alliance Master unify the Sea of Bloodhorn Dragon King. We beg Alliance Master Tsing Hui to be merciful. Everyone shouted at the same time. They did not even dare to turn around and run. Even the Bloodhorn Dragon King, who had used the divine technique, was not a match for Tsing Hui, let alone these cultivators who were weaker than the Bloodhorn Dragon King in its normal form. Hold them down. Tsing Hui waved his hand. Then, a dozen elders of the Life League stepped out and quickly arrived in front of the people of the Hall of Blood. They used their true qi to seal the circulation of their true qi and quickly captured all of them. Throughout the entire process, no one from the Hall of Blood dared to resist because of Tsing Hui's intimidation in the air. When Zhou Xiao, the Moon Lake Master, Yuan Fei, the Maha Sect Master, and the others saw this, they felt a chill in their hearts. They did not dare to have any thoughts of disloyalty towards Tsing Hui, the Alliance Master of the Life League. Tsing Hui saw everyone's reaction. Under the rule of a leader, he had to show both kindness and power. Those divine weapons were gifts that he had bestowed upon the people of the Life League. Now, in front of everyone, he had killed the Bloodhorn Dragon King, who was like a spiritual pillar in the Sea of Bloodhorn Dragon King, in an unstoppable manner. After this, he believed that no one in the Life League would dare to have any thoughts of disloyalty. Furthermore, in order to obtain the divine weapons that he had bestowed upon them, everyone in the Life League would do their best to collect the items that carried the way. They would become the source of his way. The people of the Life League quickly subdued the people of the Hall of Blood. Tsing Hui looked at them and was about to withdraw his divine art. However, after a while, he seemed to have felt something. His gaze was like lightning as he looked at a cloud dozens of miles away. At the same time, he clenched his fist and slashed down with the level 9 divine weapon in his hand. Even though the sword did not use the mysterious dragon shadow, the sword chi contained in the divine sword still formed a sword light tens of thousands of meters long. In an instant, it exploded in a cloud dozens of miles away. Accompanied by the whistling of a hurricane and the shooting of a stream of light, a figure was suddenly blasted out of the cloud. Someone's here. Who is it? How could he be hiding in the cloud? How dare he sneak into the Life League without a sound? Does he have any respect for the Life League? Seeing Tsing Hui's attack and the figure that was slashed out from the cloud dozens of miles away, Zhou Xiao, Maha Sect Master, Heavenly Devil Cult Master, Moon Lake Master, and many other strong practitioners of the Green Netherworld realm who were eager to show their loyalty roared at the same time and soared into the sky. Stop, stop. Alliance Master Tsing Hui, please stop. I don't mean any harm. The man who was slashed out from the cloud by Tsing Hui was extremely majestic. However, because he was spitting out blood, his purple gold dragon robe was dyed red with blood. His face was filled with fear, especially when he saw Tsing Hui coming over with his sword on the cloud. He was so frightened that his entire body trembled slightly. That's King Zhenhai. As the figure appeared completely, the strong practitioners of the Green Netherworld realm recognized him immediately. It's King Zhenhai. It's really King Zhenhai. I once saw his real body from afar. It's him. Why is King Zhenhai here? He hid in the cloud with the help of a rare treasure. Could it be? What else could it be? He wanted to watch the Life Alliance and the Hall of Blood fight each other so that he could benefit from it. But he was disappointed that the puny King Blood Dragon was no match for our Alliance Master Tsing Hui. He was heavily injured by our Alliance Master in one move. With another sword, the insufferably arrogant Blood Wyrm King was killed by our Alliance Master. All the experts of the Hall of Blood surrendered. His plan of being the Oriole behind the mantis has failed. Heavenly Devil Cult Master, Maha Sect Master, Zoluo Holy Mother, and the others sneered at the same time. Back then, King Zhenhai was also a formidable and unrivaled existence to them. Even though they were also experts in the Green Netherworld realm like King Zhenhai, due to King Zhenhai's identity as a high-level son of chaos, they still had to be careful when they appeared in front of King Zhenhai. They did not dare to offend him. But now, looking at Lord Zhenhai, who was trembling with fear, everyone sneered in their hearts and felt an indescribable sense of pleasure. King Zhenhai. No malice. Then I'd like to know why you hid here with the help of a rare treasure. Xing Hui looked at the man in a purple gold dragon robe with a cold expression. King Zhenhai opened his mouth and was about to quibble. But when he saw Xing Hui suddenly mention the level 9 magic weapon, he shuddered. Thinking of the king blood dragon, who was as powerful as him but was easily killed, he knelt down without hesitation and shouted with a determined face, I came here because I heard about Alliance Master Xing Hui's invincible power. From now on, I'm willing to follow Alliance Master Xing Hui and serve Xing Hui. I hope Alliance Master Xing Hui will allow me to do so. Chapter 233. I'm here because I've heard of Alliance leader Xing Hui's invincible power, so I'm here to join you. From now on, I'm willing to follow you and serve you, Alliance leader Xing Hui. I hope Alliance leader Xing Hui will allow me to do so. King Zhenhai's words of surrender echoed in the void. Zhua Xiao, Moon Lake Master, Yuan Fei, Heavenly Devil Cult Master, Maha Cult Master, and Zhuo Holy Mother, who were sharpening their weapons to show off in front of Xing Hui, were stunned. They looked at King Zhenhai strangely. King Zhenhai. King Zhenhai, one of the 2 most powerful kings overseas. You haven't even made a move yet, but you're already surrendering after being reprimanded by your alliance leader. Do you have to be so spineless? King Zhenhai seemed to have read the thoughts in the eyes of these blue netherworld realm masters. He sneered inwardly, make a move. How much is spinelessness worth? Even King Blood Dragon, who was on par with me, was killed by Xing Hui in 1 move. If I go up now, won't I be killed by his sword too? I'm not that stupid. Xing Hui glanced at King Zhenhai. He had already shocked everyone by killing the Blood Wyrm King in an unstoppable manner. However, whether or not he killed King Zhenhai, who was at the same level as the Blood Wyrm King, did not really matter. Immediately, Qing Su sheathed his sword slowly. I can spare you, but since you're a high-level son of chaos, you obviously know what the chaotic oath is. Swear the chaotic oath and pledge your loyalty to me, and I can spare your life. Otherwise, you can go accompany the Blood Wyrm King. Chaos oath. There was a hint of pain and reluctance in Lord Zhenhai's eyes. But he was a formidable figure who had survived the attacks of the 10 sacred sects. Faced with such a life-and-death choice, he still acted resolutely even though he was reluctant. I'm willing to take a chaos oath and obey the Alliance Master's orders from now on. All right. At this moment, Ling Yu, who was standing at the front of the square, raised her head slightly. She glanced at Lord Zhenhai and said with a smile, Lord Zhenhai, you can't imagine the background of our young master. It won't be long before you realize that swearing a chaos oath to follow our young master will be the best choice you've made in your life. Lord Zhenhai was slightly taken aback by Ling Yu's words. Unlike the Bloodhorn Dragon King who had been busy rebuilding the Hall of Blood, Lord Zhenhai had never neglected collecting information about the Life Moon Alliance after it had developed. Naturally, he knew Ling Yu's identity. A high-level son of chaos in the blue netherworld realm had a cultivation base that was inferior to his, but not by much. In addition, he had also heard of the rumor about Xing Hui. He was a top-notch expert, or perhaps the reincarnation of a powerful existence. However, due to some special reasons, he was unable to unleash his full strength. That was why he could only show others that he was at the Divine Chi Unity realm. Once his strength completely recovered, it was bound to be world-shaking. Thinking of this, Lord Zhenhai's reluctance dissipated a lot. If Xing Hui was really a top-notch expert who had fallen from grace, then swearing a chaos oath to pledge allegiance to him today might really be his opportunity. Lord Zhenhai no longer hesitated and quickly stepped into the Chaos Temple. Under the witness of the Chaos Temple, he swore a chaos oath to pledge allegiance to Xing Hui. As a high-level son of chaos, his life would not be in danger even if he violated the chaos oath. However, he would lose the halo of a high-level son of chaos if he fell by 5 levels in one go. Without the divine skill of a high-level son of chaos, he was just an ordinary cultivator at the late stage of the blue netherworld realm. He would never be as powerful as Lord Jinhai had been all these years. Very good. Xing Hui glanced at Lord Jinhai and glanced at Immortal Tian Peng and the others from the Hall of Blood. Lord Jinhai, you and the Bloodhorn Dragon King have known each other for a long time. Then, you and Ling Yu will lead the team back to the Hall of Blood with the people from the Hall of Blood. Bring back the materials from the Hall of Blood and leave an elder in charge. From now on, Moon Lake Island will be the headquarters of the Life Moon Alliance. Move all of them to Moon Lake Island? Lord Jinhai was slightly stunned and hesitated. Xing Hui's eyes fell on Lord Jinhai. My lord, it's not that we don't want to move to Moon Lake Island, but Moon Lake Island is too close to the inland. It's less than 50,000 kilometers away. The Hall of Blood under the Bloodhorn Dragon King and I once fought with the 10 Saint Sects. Although the forces we established were destroyed by the 10 Saint Sects and we lost less than 10% of our followers, we still caused a lot of damage to the 10 Saint Sects. Especially in the later stage, we offered rewards more than once and even personally intercepted and killed the Hall Masters and Dharma Kings of the 10 Saint Sects who went overseas. As a result, the 10 Saint Sects hate us to the core. If we hide in an area close to the outer sea, they won't dare to come here rashly. However, if we come to Moon Lake Island, the 10 Saint Sects will probably send Immortality Realm 6 experts to kill us with top divine weapons or even saints to avenge their disciples, elders, hall masters, and peak masters who died in our hands. Oh. Xing Hui frowned. Since the Bloodhorn Dragon King is dead, which Saint Sects disciples and elders did you kill? Back then, the 10 Saint Sects mainly targeted the 4 Saint Sects, namely the Hunyuan Heaven Sect, the Green Lotus Sword Sect, the 6 Paths of Divinity and Demons, and the Qiankuan Sacred Ground. In addition, the disciples of the Jin Wu religion, the Xinshao Sword Sect, the Create Evolved Mysterious Sect, and the Wuji Sword Sect also came to take advantage of the situation. However, it was just an individual action and didn't become a big force. The Green Lotus Sword Sect isn't worth mentioning, but the 6 Paths of Divinity and Demons, the Qiankuan Sacred Ground, and the Hunyuan Heaven Sect are very troublesome. Especially the Hunyuan Heaven Sect, which recently joined the Jianying Sword Sect and received funding from the Jianying Sword Sect. The Hunyuan Heaven Sect's strength has skyrocketed and has vaguely surpassed the 6 Paths of Divinity and Demons, the Qiankuan Sacred Ground, the Xinshao Sword Sect, and other forces. It's now the 3rd most powerful force in the Eastern Wilderness, close to the Wuji Sword Sect. It's a great threat. How many Hunyuan Heaven Sect experts did you kill? Xing Hui didn't want to affect Nailan Fei's development in the Hunyuan Heaven Sect because he had recruited Lord Jinhai and the others. Although Nailan Fei had the identity of a Heaven Sect, she was only a peripheral member and couldn't achieve much in the Heaven Sect. She also understood this, so she placed her hopes on the Hunyuan Heaven Sect, hoping to become the sect master of the Hunyuan Heaven Sect and use the Hunyuan Heaven Sect as a springboard to cultivate to a higher stage. If Xing Hui's recruitment of Lord Jinhai and the others led to Nailan Fei's hostility in the Hunyuan Heaven Sect and ruined Nailan Fei's future, it would be tantamount to biting the hand that fed him. Alliance Master, don't worry. My main targets back then were the Green Lotus Sword Sect and the 6 Paths of Divinity and Demons. No senior members of the Hunyuan Heaven Sect died at my hands. The one the Hunyuan Heaven Sect really wanted to kill the most was the Blood Serpent King. Back then, in order to retaliate against the Hunyuan Heaven Sect for destroying their Blood River Hall, the Blood Serpent King sneaked into the Hunyuan Heaven Sect's camp and killed 2 Peak Masters, 4 Hall Masters, and dozens of ordinary elders and true disciples. This made the Hunyuan Heaven Sect hate him to the core. Lord Jinhai hurriedly said. Oh. Xing Hui's eyes lit up slightly. Unfortunately, Nailan Fei was currently in closed-door training to break through to the Spirit Chi Unity stage and couldn't be contacted. Xing Hui had to send a message to her first. She would receive a reply after she finished her closed-door training and entered the Chaos Temple. The 6 Paths of Divinity and Demons are connected to the Create Evolved Mysterious Sect. With the pressure from the create-evolved mysterious sect, they can't spare much strength to go overseas to deal with us. As for the Qianquan Holy Land, if they want to attack the Life Alliance, they either have to cooperate with the Hunyuan Heaven sect or pass through the overseas forces controlled by the create-evolved mysterious sect. I will soon enter the Hunyuan Heaven sect. If the Qianquan Holy Land cooperates with the Hunyuan Heaven sect, I will be the first to know, so you don't have to worry about these two forces. Then the Green Lotus Sword sect. Xing Hui glanced at Lord Jinhai and chuckled. Do you think, with the current power of the Life Alliance, we still need to be afraid of the Green Lotus Sword sect? Lord Jinhai was taken aback for a moment, and then he thought of the scene where Xing Hui had used a saint technique to kill the Blood Serpent King. That kind of terrifying battle strength wasn't inferior to a saint stage expert who had manifested a saint body. Apart from the first Supreme Elder of the Green Lotus Sword sect, who else could do anything to their Alliance Master? Thinking of this, Lord Jinhai immediately calmed down. I will follow the Alliance Master's order and move our forces to Moon Lake Island. Yes, Moon Lake Island is located in the center of the area not controlled by the create-evolved mysterious sect. The Life Alliance's future development direction will be with Moon Lake Island as the center and spread out in all directions. When your people arrive, I need you to form teams of 3 and completely control this sea region. From now on, there will only be one voice in the overseas region, and that is the voice of the Life Alliance. No. It's not the voice of the Life Alliance. Ling Yu stepped forward and said respectfully, it's the Alliance Master's voice. Lord Jinhai, Zhou Xiao, Maha Sect Master, Ziyuo Holy Mother, and the others were taken aback by Ling Yu's blatant flattery at first, but then they reacted quickly and stepped forward to say respectfully, from now on, there will only be one ruler in the overseas region, and that is our Alliance Master. We will do our best to make the overseas region submit to our Alliance Master's command. It won't be long before we unite the overseas region and help our Alliance Master to sit on the supreme throne of the overseas region. With the arrival of Lord Jinhai, their status in the Life Alliance had been severely affected, and they had fallen from the strongest to the second tier. Naturally, they didn't dare to be as arrogant as before. Xing Hui saw through their thoughts, but he didn't point it out. If that's the case, then I'll wait and see your performance. You can try your best to collect items that carry Taoism when you're fighting in the overseas region. My promise is still valid. Anyone who can bring me enough Taoist connotation will be able to exchange for a divine weapon that you're satisfied with. I have everything you want, such as level 6 divine weapons, level 6 armors, and even level 6 flying swords. Thinking of the many divine weapons that Xing Hui had taken out in the meeting hall, the Green Netherworld Realm experts who were just trying to please Xing Hui were all excited. They answered loudly, we won't let our Alliance Master down. Immortal Tian Peng from the Hall of Blood, who was eager to show his loyalty, was moved. He quickly stepped forward and whispered, Alliance Master, the Blood Dragon King is in a hurry to succeed. Although he's a high-level son of chaos, he hasn't opened up his personal space. I know where his items and the items that carry Taoism are hidden. I'm willing to lead you there. Chapter 234. Oh. Xing Hui's gaze landed on Immortal Tian Peng. The Blood Dragon King had 3 Green Netherworld Realm experts and 16 Spirit and Qi Uniting Realm experts. He had brought 2 Green Netherworld Realm experts, Immortal Tian Peng and Immortal Bai Sheng, and 12 Spirit and Qi Uniting Realm experts to attack the Life League. Among the 2 Green Netherworld Realm experts, Immortal Tian Peng was the leader. Immortal Tian Peng was the strongest expert below the Blood Dragon King. He had awakened the bloodline of the sacred beast, Tian Peng. He was at the later stage of the Green Netherworld Realm and ranked 8th on the Divine Dragon ranking. Even the Blood Dragon King called him brother. There's still one person in the Hall of Blood, right? I remember her name is Yingyu. Yes. Immortal Tian Peng said, I'm willing to persuade Yingyu to join the Life League. Please allow it. Xing Hui nodded, alright, I'll go to the Hall of Blood. Lead the way. He glanced at Ling Yu, Zhou Xiao, Yuan Fei, Sect Master Maha, and the rest. Let's go. I hope to see a unified overseas world in 1 year. 1 year? The Green Netherworld Realm experts were stunned. They then thought of Lord Jinhai, who had just joined the Life League, and quickly responded, "Yes, sir." Without Lord Jinhai, a pinnacle expert, it would be difficult for them to unify the overseas world. However, with Lord Jinhai around, the Green Netherworld Realm experts who were ranked 3rd, 4th, and 5th wouldn't be a threat. Lord Jinhai could use his divine skill to sweep them away. "Alliance Master, please." Immortal Tian Peng controlled the rank 4 flying Dharma artifact, the Saint-Winged Golden Rock, and gestured at the entrance respectfully. The Saint-Winged Golden Rock is obviously slower. "Let's ride on my Saint-Winged Dragon Hawk," Xing Hui said. He waved his hand and a Saint-Winged Dragon Hawk appeared. With his current status and strength, it didn't matter if he exposed the Saint-Winged Dragon Hawk or not. "I didn't expect the Alliance Master to have such a treasure." Immortal Tian Peng looked at the Saint-Winged Dragon Hawk with envy. "This is nothing. To tell you the truth, the divine weapon that the Alliance leader used to fight with the Blood Wyrm King is not the level 8 divine weapon that you think it is, but level 9. They even have level 9 divine weapons, let alone a mere level 5 flying magic tool, the Sacred Winged Dragon Hawk." Ling Yu, who was waiting respectfully at the side, sneered. "Level 9 divine weapon?" Reverend Sky Rock's face was filled with shock. A level 9 divine weapon was definitely the most powerful divine weapon in the entire Eastern Wilderness. Let alone the Jin Wu religion and the giant Dragon Mountain Range, even the 6 paths of God and demons, the Qiankun Holy Land, the Xinshao Sword Sect, and the Hunyuan Heaven Sect before joining the Shadow Sword Sect might not possess a Class 9 divine weapon. In the entire Eastern Wilderness, there were only 3 sects that possessed divine weapons of level 9 or above. The Limitless Sword Sect, the Creation Mysterious Gate, and the Green Lotus Sword Sect. In fact, the Green Lotus Sword Sect only had one true divine weapon of level 9 and above, and that was the Green Lotus Divine Sword. The Green Lotus Divine Sword was also known as the #1 divine sword in the Eastern Wilderness. I have quite a number of level 6 divine weapons. If your performance this time can satisfy me and bring me to find enough precious resources, I can give you a level 6 divine weapon," Xing Hui said. Spiritual Master Tian Peng was pleasantly surprised. The Blood Wyrm King has collected a lot of treasures over the years, and because he has offended too many experts, he doesn't dare to go to the inland sea to trade. He doesn't trust others and isn't willing to give those treasures to his subordinates to trade in the inland sea. Therefore, he has kept all these treasures. I'm sure you won't be disappointed. You're in charge of controlling the Sacred Winged Dragon Hawk. Let's go. Yes. Spiritual Master Tian Peng stepped forward and controlled the Sacred Winged Dragon Hawk. Soon, it rose into the air and flew toward the Hall of Blood, which was 40,000 kilometers away. After Xing Hui left, Lord Jinhai said that he needed to move his forces to the Moon Lake Island and left as well. Ling Yu carried out Xing Hui's orders faithfully and quickly organized the Green Netherworld Realm experts and Divine Chi Unity Realm experts to attack the various overseas forces. In the entire overseas region, there were only a few Green Netherworld Realm experts. Even if the subordinates of Lord Jinhai and the Blood Wyrm King were counted, there were only 30 to 40 Green Netherworld Realm experts in the overseas region. Among these people, more than 10 had joined the Life League. With these people as the vanguard and more than 100 Divine Chi Unity Realm experts as the wings, it wasn't just empty words to sweep across the overseas region. While Xing Hui was rushing to the Hall of Blood, the huge Life League moved at the same time. Powerful teams led by 2 or 3 Green Netherworld Realm experts quickly began to conquer the islands of other forces. After witnessing their League Master's terrifying strength that was inferior to a prominent Divine Realm expert, the people of the Life League didn't have to be careful anymore. Coupled with the temptation of Xing Hui's many divine weapons, the speed of conquering the overseas region was more than twice as fast as before. For a moment, the entire overseas region was filled with the smoke of war. There were endless killings, and it was completely chaotic. Xing Hui was mentally prepared for this, but he didn't ask about it. At this moment, he was riding the sacred winged dragon hawk at full speed toward the Hall of Blood, which was close to the overseas region. The closer he got to the overseas region, the more terrifying auras Xinghui felt. Sometimes, there were some terrifying life forms hidden under the sea that emitted a power that made even him, who had cultivated to the green netherworld realm and had a rank 9 divine weapon, feel terrified. The overseas region is ultimately the world of the sea beasts. After a long time, Xinghui sighed. Indeed. Although the Blood Dragon King has great prestige in the overseas region, in reality, in this region near the overseas region, it can only be said to be surviving in the cracks. The location of the Hall of Blood has to be changed almost every 20 to 30 years. On one hand, it's to avoid being targeted by the experts of the 10 great sections. On the other hand, it's to avoid being targeted by those terrifying sea beasts. Spiritual Master Tian Peng nodded in agreement. At the same time, he looked down at the sea with lingering fear. In the inland region, rank 5 sea beasts can be called overlords, and rank 6 sea beasts can dominate an area. However, in the region near the overseas region, there are no sea beasts below rank 7. Back then, I relied on my fast flying speed to go to the overseas region. I flew 120,000 kilometers from the inland region and personally witnessed a great battle between two tribes of saint-level sea beasts. The weakest sea beast in these two tribes was rank 7. Hundreds of rank 7 sea beasts, under the lead of dozens of rank 8 sea beasts, fought fiercely. The winds and clouds surged, and the tsunamis they set off destroyed the islands within a radius of thousands of kilometers. Even from afar, I could feel the suffocating and terrifying pressure. Xinghui nodded. He also understood how terrifying the overseas region was. This was also the reason why the cultivators of many continents only dared to leave their own continents for the prosperous infinite wasteland after reaching the saint level. The eastern wilderness was slightly better as it was only about 28 million kilometers away from infinite wasteland. Some of the regions that were more remote than the eastern wilderness were the truly dangerous ones. This was especially so for the eastern wilderness and the many islands that were similar to the eastern wilderness. Strictly speaking, they were formed when the divine wilderness was shattered, and they were located in the inland sea of the divine wilderness. If one flew 50 to 60 million kilometers with infinite wasteland as the center and stepped into the real sea region, there would be many saint-level sea beasts, let alone saint-level sea beasts. Many peak saint and saint-level sea beasts who did not have cultivation resources and could not afford the items sold in the Chaos Treasure Pavilion would form teams and venture into the dangerous sea regions. They would take risks and kill saint-level sea beasts and divine-level sea beasts in order to find opportunities to advance to a higher realm. However, these were too far away for him. Before he became a powerful expert, he did not need to consider these problems. Just as he was about to reach the Hall of Blood, Xinghui suddenly received a response from the message he left for Nalan Fei. "You're out." In the next moment, Xinghui was overjoyed. He sent a portion of his consciousness into the Chaos Temple and went directly to Nalan Fei's personal space. In the personal space, Nalan Fei, who had obviously changed a lot compared to before, was waiting there. When she saw Xinghui, she looked over in surprise. "Xinghui, is the message you left for me true? You killed the Blood Wyrm King, one of the two overlords of the sea region." She was so excited that she did not even care about the basic rule of the Chaos Temple that she could not reveal the other party's real name. "Yes." Xinghui nodded. At the same time, he could not wait to ask, "Have you stepped into the Divine Qi integration realm?" "Half a month ago, I finally broke through to the Divine Qi integration realm and used half a month to completely stabilize it." Nalan Fei continued to change the topic to the Blood Wyrm King. "Xinghui, is the message you left for me true or false?" "Of course it's true." Xinghui smiled. Since the Life Moon Alliance has developed to such a scale, it is bound to have a conflict of interest with the Blood Wyrm King and Lord Jinhai. A few months ago, the Blood Wyrm King sent an envoy to subdue the Life Moon Alliance, but I rejected him. I didn't expect him to come knocking on my door, so I naturally didn't hold back and killed him on the spot. Naylan Fei thought of the astonishing strength Tsinghui displayed in the battle with Xia Tian's clone and did not doubt that he could kill the Blood Wyrm King. Great, the Blood Wyrm King is ranked 9th on the Hunyuan Heaven Sect's bounty list. There is a Saint Stage ancestor and 3 Supreme Elders who have a bounty on his head. They all have close disciples and juniors who died in the Blood Wyrm King's hands. If you can bring the Blood Wyrm King's corpse to our Hunyuan Heaven Sect, you will immediately receive an incomparably generous reward. The Blood Wyrm King's corpse is gone, but the few things that are inseparable from his life are still there. These things are enough to prove that the Blood Wyrm King is dead. However, the person who will bring these things to the Hunyuan Heaven Sect to receive the bounty is not me, but you. Me? Naylan Fei was taken aback for a moment before she hurriedly shook her head. No, the Blood Wyrm King's bounty is almost comparable to the value of a level 7 divine weapon. The value of a level 7 divine weapon is nothing. Besides, don't you have the intention to compete for the position of Deputy Sect Master of the Hunyuan Heaven Sect and even the future Sect Master? Then you should start accumulating merits now. The Blood Wyrm King's bounty will not only allow you to make friends with the 3 Supreme Elders, but also a Saint Stage expert. Why not? Only when you have enough influence in the Hunyuan Heaven Sect can I develop the Life Moon Alliance overseas without any worries. Chapter 235. Hearing Tsing Hui's words, Naylan Fei no longer insisted. The merit of killing the Blood Wyrm King was indeed very important to her. When will you be free to come to my place? The birth of a peak master disciple, especially one who has mastered Saint Tier Astral Chi, is a major event worthy of celebration for the entire Hunyuan Heaven Sect. In particular, on the day I establish the peak, I'll be able to invite all my friends and family to attend. I hope you'll be there as well. Of course, I won't miss such a critical moment. When? I have now completely consolidated my cultivation base, but the preparation work has already been done. It will take more than 10 days to send out the invitation, so the final celebration banquet is scheduled for a month later. I will definitely be there. Naylan Fei smiled and nodded. The Life Moon Alliance has even killed the Blood Wyrm King. Is this the trend of unifying the overseas? However, the stronger your faction is, the greater the influence of the Hunyuan Heaven Sect will be, and the more benefits I can obtain as a peak master disciple. I will now report your Life Moon Alliance to the higher-ups. Can you give me a list of your Life Moon Alliance's core members? Of course, give me a day. I will help you organize it in a day. Good, when this list is submitted, you will have the status of an outer member of the Hunyuan Heaven Sect. Although you will not be able to obtain the core cultivation techniques of the Hunyuan Heaven Sect, if you make contributions, you will be able to come into contact with the second-tier cultivation techniques and exchange them for resources from the Hunyuan Heaven Sect. Also, from now on, you will not have to worry when you walk in the territory of the Hunyuan Heaven Sect. The Hunyuan Heaven Sect has been famous for a long time. I finally have the opportunity to visit the Hunyuan Heaven Sect. I can't wait. In fact, with your current status as the leader of the Life Moon Alliance, if you really want to join the Hunyuan Heaven Sect, you will most likely become a Hall Master immediately. The Hunyuan Heaven Sect will also welcome you with open arms. Forget about joining the Hunyuan Heaven Sect. I don't want to become a chess piece of the Hunyuan Heaven Sect. Although there is competition within the Hunyuan Heaven Sect, it's not as dark as you think. However, I understand what you mean. Don't worry, although you'll be joining my mountain, I won't force you to do anything you don't want to do. Even if the Hunyuan Heaven Sect directly orders you, I'll find a way to refuse. Tsing Hui smiled and nodded. Well then, we'll meet again when the time comes. If I want to develop this mountain to a certain scale, I'll definitely have to rely on you, the leader of the Life Alliance. Hence, I've named my new mountain Qinglan Mountain. Qinglan Peak. Tsing Hui was slightly stunned. Yes, when the time comes, you'll have to bring enough people to support me. Although I've recruited many followers during this period, they're only at the true chi stage and the ordinary spirit refining stage. Currently, the strongest people under me are only the elders of the Nalan family. Those elders are arrogant, and I can't command them as I wish. When you bring the experts of the Life Moon Alliance and make them realize that I don't need to rely on their strength, they'll naturally become obedient. Since you value my Life Moon Alliance so much, I naturally can't lose face for you. Don't worry, when the time comes, I'll learn about the past of these people. I'll bring those who don't have any grudges with the Hunyuan Heaven sect to support you. Now that you mention it, I can't wait for that day. 1 month, not too long. Xing Hui smiled. After the discussion, Xing Hui cut off the communication with Nalan Fei. At the same time, he found Ling Yu and asked her to collect a list of names that could be reported. This list was different from the list of members of the Life Moon Alliance. The people on the list couldn't have any direct conflicts with the Hunyuan Heaven sect. Otherwise, it would easily bring trouble to Nalan Fei. In order to minimize these troubles, he could only let those who weren't suitable to enter the mainland stay overseas. Ling Yu was extremely efficient. In less than half a day, the 2 lists were handed to Xing Hui at the same time. In the 2 lists, the people on one of the lists didn't have any grudges with the Hunyuan Heaven sect. Even the conflicts with other sacred sects weren't worth mentioning. They were either born and raised overseas or had offended the creative all mysterious sect. For the Hunyuan Heaven sect, their background could be considered clean. On the list, there were 34 Unity of Spirit stage experts and 3 Blue Netherworld stage experts. They were the Master of the Moon Lake, Yu Xianchen, Ten Sha of Gojoseon, Zhua Xiao, and the Zhu Luo Divine Mother. Although the remaining people on the list had some grudges with the Hunyuan Heaven sect, they were basically small conflicts that could be brushed aside. For example, they had killed the followers of a certain true disciple or elder, but they had not caused any direct harm to the true disciples or core members of the Hunyuan Heaven sect. For such small conflicts, the Hunyuan Heaven sect would not pursue the matter because of the other party's status as a Spirit Chi Unity stage expert. There were 104 experts in the Syncretic Spirit and Chi realm and 6 in the Blue Netherworld realm. Lord Jinhai was one of them. Xing Hui selected for a while and only added the first list. But in addition to the others on the list, he also added Lord Jinhai's name. After all, although his Life Moon Alliance had defeated the Hall of Blood and subdued Lord Jinhai, their reputation was still far from being comparable to Lord Jinhai and Lord Blood Flood Dragon. These 2 giants were existences that the 10 great sacred sects had tried to recruit or kill decades ago. With Lord Jinhai's name, once Nalan Fei's Qinglan Peak was established, its reputation would immediately not be inferior to any of the deputy sect masters of the Hunyuan Heaven sect. Xing Hui handed the list to Nalan Fei. When Nalan Fei saw Lord Jinhai's name on the list, she was also shocked. It was only at this moment that she truly understood Xing Hui's great influence overseas. To him, unifying the overseas was no longer an empty promise. Alliance Master, we're here. Half a day later, Spiritual Master Tian Peng's careful voice sounded beside Xing Hui. As Xing Hui looked around, a shabby-looking palace appeared on the large island in front of him. Seeing the palace, Xing Hui couldn't help but be a little astonished. This is the headquarters of the Hall of Blood? Spiritual Master Tian Peng naturally knew why Xing Hui was so astonished. He immediately said awkwardly, Alliance Master, you may not know, but the headquarters of the Hall of Blood has to move every once in a while. The reason for the move is either to offend the nearby top vicious beasts or an unexpected disaster similar to the tsunami a few months ago. If we build it so luxuriously every time, the Hall of Blood really doesn't have the resources to waste. Xing Hui couldn't help but be enlightened. The Hall of Blood still has a headquarters. It is said that Lord Jinhai's headquarters is actually a large battleship that has been modified. It's just that the battleship is like a palace and is used as the headquarters. Xing Hui nodded. From the looks of it, it really wasn't easy for humans to survive near the outer seas. Even Lord Zhenhai and King Blood Wyrm were living so miserably. It was no wonder that the cultivators within 60,000 kilometers of the inner seas accounted for more than 90% of all the cultivators in the entire overseas. Spiritual Master Tianpeng had clearly sent a message to Ying Yu beforehand, informing him of the outcome of King Blood Wyrm's attack on the Life Moon Alliance. Therefore, when the group arrived at the headquarters of the Hall of Blood that had been built for less than a few months, Ying Yu had already brought the remaining experts of the Hall of Blood to the plaza, trembling with fear. Seeing Tsinghui arrive, Ying Yu hurriedly brought everyone forward and bowed respectfully to Tsinghui. Sinner Ying Yu greets the Alliance Master. Alright, as long as you are loyal and devoted to the Life Moon Alliance from now on and put the interests of the Life Moon Alliance as the most important thing, I will not pursue your past mistakes. Thank you, Alliance Master. Ying Yu and the other experts of the Hall of Blood Wyrm heaved a sigh of relief as if a heavy burden had been lifted from their shoulders. Tsinghui was about to unify the entire overseas. If they didn't take this opportunity to submit to Tsinghui, once the overseas completely became Tsinghui's backyard, they would no longer have a foothold. Alliance Master, please follow me. I will bring you to the King Blood Wyrm's treasure room. Spiritual Master Tianpeng led the way respectfully. Tsinghui nodded and followed Spiritual Master Tianpeng. Soon, they stepped into the interior of the Hall of Blood. After some twists and turns, they finally appeared in an iron box made entirely of adamantine ore. The box was 6 meters tall, 10 meters long, and more than 4 meters wide. The space inside could be said to be extremely large. Putting everything else aside, just the amount of adamantine ore alone would not be inferior to an upper-grade Tier 5 divine weapon if sold. However, the King Blood Wyrm actually used it as a treasure room. We don't have the key to the treasure room. The treasure room was personally made by a refinement master and is 1 meter thick. Even a green netherworld realm expert with a Tier 6 divine weapon would not be able to break it. However, for the Alliance Master who has a Tier 9 divine weapon, it is not a problem at all. Spiritual Master Tianpeng explained respectfully at the side. Tsinghui nodded. He drew out his divine sword and slashed down. Accompanied by bursting flames, the extremely sturdy adamantine treasure room was cut open like tofu. As Tsinghui stepped into the room, the Chaos Divine Palace immediately sent out a series of notifications. Tsinghui had a faint look of joy. According to the Chaos Divine Palace's instructions, he quickly collected all the items that carried Dao in the treasure room. After calculating, it was actually worth 22 Dao auras, which was already enough for him to buy another Tier 9 defensive armor. In addition to these, there were some scattered materials, divine weapons, and heavenly materials and earthly treasures. These items were accumulated by the King Blood Wyrm after decades of dominating the sea. Their value was extraordinary and could be compared to an upper-grade Tier 6 divine weapon. However, it was a pity that these items were not worth mentioning compared to Tsinghui who could go shopping in the infinite region. He just kept them as a reward for his subordinates in the future. Good. Tianpeng, I am very satisfied with these items. The Life League has always been generous with rewards for those who have made contributions. Although these treasures belong to the King Blood Wyrm should be considered as my spoils of war, you brought me here to ensure that these items are intact. Naturally, I have to express my gratitude. You have awakened the bloodline of Tianpeng. As Qing Su said that, he directly took out a claw weapon that had reached the low grade of the 6th class. This is my reward for you. Spiritual Master Tianpeng was pleasantly surprised when he saw Tsinghui take out such a treasure. Thank you, Alliance Master. Thank you for your generous gift. From today onwards, Tianpeng will definitely repay the Alliance Master's trust and kindness with his life. Tsinghui smiled and nodded. Seeing that Spiritual Master Tianpeng had only brought Tsinghui to the King Blood Wyrm's treasure room and received such a generous reward, Ying Yu's heart warmed. After a moment, he seemed to have thought of something and suddenly said, by the way, Alliance Master, the King Blood Wyrm's treasures are not limited to these. In addition to these, when he killed a green netherworld stage expert of the Hunyuan Heaven sect, he obtained a dragon beard root from the green netherworld stage expert and wanted to cultivate it into a tree. I know where he planted it. Chapter 236. Dragon beard root? You mean dragon beard root? Sing Hui's figure flickered and appeared in front of Yu. It's the dragon beard root that can strengthen one's physique. Seeing Qing Su's reaction, Yu immediately understood that she had made the right bet. She no longer dared to hide anything. The Blood Serpent King planted this dragon beard root on a medium-sized island less than 6,000 kilometers away from us and nurtured it. I don't know what method he used, but he actually managed to nurture the dragon beard root successfully, turning it into a Longyan tree. Bring me there immediately. Yes. Yu respectfully replied and was about to summon her flying sword. You're in charge of controlling my sacred winged draconic eagle. After speaking, he glanced at spiritual master Tian Peng. I'll leave the matter of moving the Hall of Blood to Moon Lake Island to you. Spiritual master Tian Peng was already satisfied with the rank 6 divine weapon that Xing Hui had given him. He naturally did not dare to go against his orders. Rest assured, Alliance leader. In less than half a month, the core facilities of the Hall of Blood will all be moved to Moon Lake Island. Only an empty shell will be left here. Good. Xing Hui nodded. Yu controlled the sacred winged draconic eagle and headed straight to the island 6,000 kilometers away. After 10 hours, a medium-sized island with a diameter of over 400 kilometers gradually appeared in Xing Hui's vision. Looking at the island, Yu quickly introduced, Alliance leader, there is a dense forest on this island. In the forest, there is a tripod lizard tribe. The strongest of them is at the Qingming realm while the weakest is at the spirit refining realm. Moreover, their numbers are huge. Even Qingming realm cultivators would not stay on this island if there is no need. The Blood Flood Dragon King planted the Longyan tree on this island. It's extremely difficult to grow a dragon yen tree with the dragon beard root. Even the Hunyuan Heaven sect, one of the 10 great sacred sects, only has one dragon yen tree. They have tried to plant a second dragon yen tree more than a dozen times, but all of them failed. How did the Blood Dragon King use the dragon beard root to grow a dragon yen tree? This. I really don't know. Even the Blood Wyrm King himself doesn't know why he was able to plant the dragon whisker root. He guessed that it should be related to the special environment here. Environment? Qing Su glanced around, but he really could not tell what was different about the surroundings. The most precious material of the Longyan tree was its roots, the Longyan root. This root contained mysterious and powerful energy. Anyone who could use it as medicine would be able to strengthen and refine their body. Usually, the stronger the body's endurance, the better the strengthening and refining effect. Although cultivators mainly cultivated true qi, once their physical body became stronger, their capacity for true qi would increase, and it could also slightly improve a person's cultivation aptitude. It was because of this that the Hunyuan Heaven sect valued the dragon beard root so much that they never sold it to outsiders. In the past, there was someone on the black market who urgently needed the dragon beard root and offered a high-grade 6th-grade divine weapon, but he still couldn't obtain it. Of course, this didn't mean that the dragon beard root was worth a high-grade 6th-grade divine weapon, but it indirectly proved that the Hunyuan Heaven sect had a monopoly on this treasure. Alliance Master, we have to go on foot. Otherwise, if we are discovered, we will inevitably be attacked by these water lizards. The Blood Wyrm King has already figured out the range of activity of the most powerful water lizards on this island. As long as we avoid these top water lizards, we won't have to worry about danger. Yu cautiously said. It's just cyan netherworld stage water lizards. Why are you so cautious? Alliance Master, you must not underestimate these water lizards. Although these water lizards are not strong, they are numerous. According to our preliminary estimates, there are more than 300,000 water lizards on the island. Among them, there are more than 1/1000 water lizards at the Cyan Netherworld realm, which is about 300 of them. Once we are surrounded by these water lizards, 300 to 400 cyan netherworld realm water lizards will swarm us. In addition to the tens of thousands of rank 4 ordinary water lizards, even a prominent saint expert would be exhausted to death. 300 to 400, when Xing Hui heard this, although he was confident that he could charge out of the encirclement of 300 to 400 water lizards, he didn't want to go through too much trouble. At that moment, the two of them quickly shuttled back and forth on the island. It was impossible not to encounter any water lizards along the way. These lizards were only 2 meters tall and 6 meters long. They were covered in scales and had fleshy wings on their backs. Their defense and speed were quite astonishing. Unfortunately, in front of Xing Hui's flying sword, these lizards didn't even have time to scream before they were shot to death by his sword. After spending less than half an hour shuttling back and forth on the island for more than 40 kilometers, the two of them quickly stopped in a rather hidden valley. The valley's environment was slightly dry and there were almost no water lizards around. This was also the reason why the Blood Wyrm King planted the dragon beard roots here. It really is the dragon beard tree. Xing Hui looked at the 2-meter-tall tree and couldn't help but reveal a trace of joy on his face. It wasn't easy for the dragon beard tree to grow. The roots of a 2-meter-tall dragon beard tree must be very developed. If it was dug out and dissected, it wouldn't be difficult to get more than 10 dragon beard roots. Have you ever tried to transplant this dragon beard tree? Yes, but in less than 3 days, this dragon beard tree showed signs of withering. Yingyu said. Xing Hui's eyes lingered on the dragon beard tree for a while. Finally, he said, a 2-meter-tall dragon beard tree. If we dig out 5 dragon beard roots, it shouldn't wither. Go, dig it out. Yes. Yingyu was not displeased with Qing Su's orders at all. She quickly went up and dug the soil to one side very soon, revealing the roots of the Longyan tree. The roots were densely packed, rooted in the soil. Qing Su estimated with a single glance that there were enough roots to split into 14 to 16 portions of Longyan roots. Soon, Yingyu dug out 5 dragon beard roots and rearranged the soil at the same time. The real value of the dragon beard roots should be comparable to that of an upper-grade level 5 magic weapon. If it was auctioned, it might be sold as an upper-grade level 6 magic weapon. As for the mysterious person in the black market who wanted to buy it with an upper-grade level 6 magic weapon, it was a special case. Very good, Yingyu. You've done a great service. Tell me, what reward do you want? Xing Hui said with a smile as he put the 5 dragon beard roots that Yingyu respectfully handed over into his personal space. If possible, this subordinate earnestly requests the Alliance Master to bestow this subordinate with a lower-grade level 5 flying sword. Yingyu cautiously put forward her request. A lower-grade level 5 flying sword. This request surprised Xing Hui. A 4th-grade level 4 flying sword is fine too, no need. Xing Hui waved his hand and took out a 5th-grade level 5 flying sword. Try it and see if it suits your chi attribute. Thank you, Alliance Master. Yingyu hurriedly thanked Xing Hui and took the flying sword. She injected her chi and the flying sword immediately revolved around her. Feeling the flexibility of the flying sword, Yingyu's eyes widened in surprise. This is a 5th-grade level 5 flying sword. Not bad. The contribution you've made is worthy of being bestowed with a high-grade 5th-grade flying sword. Thank you, Alliance Master. Yingyu is willing to be at your beck and call to repay the Alliance Master's kindness. You just need to take good care of this dragon beard tree. With a 5th-grade level 5 flying sword, you won't be in danger even if you're blocked by a few blue netherworld realm water lizards. After all, although water lizards have the ability to fly, they aren't good at it. A 5th-grade level 5 flying sword's speed is enough for you to shake them off. Don't worry, Alliance Master. This subordinate won't let this dragon beard tree suffer any damage. Well, I see that although your cultivation has reached the Green Hell realm, you have exhausted your potential due to your pursuit of cultivation speed. However, as long as you take good care of this Longyan tree, I may be able to bestow you with a chaos formula in the future, allowing you to become the son of chaos and awaken the innate talent of the Inu bloodline, helping you to step into the prominent divine stage in the future. Yes, this subordinate will definitely treat this dragon beard tree as my life. If there's any damage to it, I'm willing to offer my head. Xing Hui nodded in satisfaction. Needless to say, the dragon beard root was an unexpected gain. After obtaining the dragon beard root, Xing Hui immediately contacted Green Lotus Sword Sex Wen Hui through the Chaos Shrine when he returned to the Life League. Seeing Xing Hui, Wen Hui was obviously a little unnatural. After all, he had been captured alive by Xing Hui not long ago. However, after a short while, he seemed to have thought of something and said with a smile, "I heard that Alliance Master Xing Hui has already begun to unify the overseas region. Congratulations. With Alliance Master Xing Hui's ability, the entire overseas region will be yours as long as you take action. By then, our eastern wilderness will definitely become an overlord force that isn't inferior to Wanxiang City, Alchemy Valley, and Heaven Medicine League. It's not difficult to unify the overseas region. The difficult part is that the 10 great sacred sects will be eyeing us after we've grown stronger." Xing Hui also smiled. Compared to Vice Sect Master Wen Hui, I, as the Alliance Master of the Life League, am actually like a rootless duckweed. I don't know when I'll be targeted by the experts of the 10 sacred sects, and my great foundation will be destroyed overnight. Alliance Master Xing Hui, you're too humble. Currently, the Life League has hundreds of spirit and chi uniting experts, and a few Green Hell Realm experts. How can a mere Vice Sect Master like me compare to such power? Wen Hui waved his hand slightly and went straight to the point. "May I know why Alliance Master Xing Hui has contacted me this time?" "Indeed, there's something that I need your help with. I want to refine a medicine, and I need sword jades. The Green Lotus Sword Sect's Green Lotus Divine Sword will definitely produce sword jades. Vice Sect Master Wen Hui, please do me a favor." "Sword jades?" Wen Hui was slightly startled, and then immediately put on a troubled expression. "It is extremely difficult to produce a sword jade, even if our Green Lotus Sword Sect's Green Lotus Divine Sword is a level 10 divine armament, it is still not easy to produce a sword jade, a lower level 6 defensive armor," Xing Hui said indifferently. Immediately, the troubled expression on Wen Hui's face abruptly disappeared. Wen Hui hesitated for only a moment before he came to a decision. A lower level 6 defensive armor and a lower level 6 divine weapon. I know that a lower level 6 divine weapon is nothing to Alliance Master Xing Hui. Deal. 1 month later, Hunyuan Heaven Sect's Peak Master level True Disciple, Nalan Fei, will be holding a Peak Master Assembly. I hope that Vice Sect Master Wen can attend. Our deal can be carried out at that time. Wen Hui had already investigated Xing Hui's identity and background, and naturally knew of his relationship with Nalan Fei. He agreed to his request with a smile. "Since Alliance Master Xing Hui has spoken, how can I, Wen Hui, not come? I must have a good chat with Alliance Master Xing Hui. Okay, I'll be waiting for Vice Sect Master Wen at Hunyuan Heaven Sect." With Qingfeng's crippled hand's speed, I'm afraid I won't be able to do anything for the 6th chapter today, but it doesn't matter. Today is Tuesday, let Qingfeng rest and recover his strength. Saturday and Sunday, we'll continue. After many years of silence, it's time for the sword cultivators of the Great Sword Alliance to show their true skills. Chapter 237. Hunyuan Heaven Sect. The Hunyuan Heaven Sect had always been at the top of the second tier. Over the years, the Hunyuan Heaven Sect had accumulated a deep foundation. However, due to the restrictions placed on them by the Limitless Sword Sect and the Creation Mysterious Gate, they had never been able to experience a true explosive development. But more than a year ago, Shadow Sword had sent an envoy to the Hunyuan Heaven Sect. The envoy passed the Hunyuan Heaven Sect's assessment to join Shadow Sword, and became close to Shadow Sword, one of the 10 great chaos forces. The foundation that the Hunyuan Heaven Sect had accumulated over the years could finally be put to good use, and the Hunyuan Heaven Sect welcomed an unprecedented explosion of power. The Hunyuan Heaven sect distributed hundreds of Taoist rhythms that had been accumulated over countless years. Although the divine weapons exchanged for these Taoist rhythms could only be calculated according to the prices of the eastern wilderness, they still brought great returns to the Hunyuan Heaven sect. Top divine weapons, treasures, armor, and flying swords were quickly transported to the Hunyuan Heaven sect, causing the overall strength of the Hunyuan Heaven sect to soar. It was said that several supreme elders of immortal level 6 had broken through in just over a year. As for the ordinary elders, peak masters, and palace masters, there were hundreds of them who had broken through. Nailan Fei and Yuan Kong were among the hundreds of people who had broken through. As everyone divided and used the resources exchanged for by the hundreds of Dao charms, the Hunyuan Heaven sect had completely left the second tier behind and gradually stepped into the first tier. Although they were still inferior to the Limitless Sword sect, they had a significant advantage over the Xin Shao Sword sect, the Six God and Demon Paths, and the Qiankuan Sacred Land. Under such circumstances, the Hunyuan Heaven sect's breadth of mind and boldness was naturally no longer limited to the previous cities and lands. At this moment, in the Hunyuan Heaven sect's sect master's study, a dignified middle-aged man with a mysterious aura was flipping through an application. There was a faint smile on his calm face. If Nailan Fei were here, she would immediately recognize that the middle-aged man before her was the sect master of the Hunyuan Heaven sect, one of the 10 great sacred sects, Zhuo Kunlun. He was the sect master of the Hunyuan Heaven sect, one of the 10 great sacred sections. Jieshu, Zhongguang, take a look. Zhuo Kunlun placed the application on the desk in front of him. Immediately, an old man at the peak of the blue netherworld realm stepped forward and took the application. He handed it over to Jiasu, who was a high-level son of chaos. After Jiasu finished reading the information, he passed it to Bei Zhongguang, who was the most promising candidate to become sect master among the many deputy sect masters in the Hunyuan Heaven sect. This is Junior Sister Nailan. Junior Sister Nailan is really capable. Many of the constructions on Qinglan Peak have yet to be completed, but she has already recruited such a huge force. I've heard of the Life League, which is very famous overseas. It's comparable to the Hall of Blood River established by the Blood Dragon King in his heyday, and the Jinhai Divine Court established by Lord Jinhai. After Jiasu and Bei Zhongguang finished reading the application, they were slightly surprised, but they didn't lose their composure. Chasing after the Blood River Hall and the sea-suppressing divine court that the Blood Dragon King established at his peak? Hunyuan Heaven sect master Zhuo Kunlun shook his head when he saw their gazes. He said to the peak green netherworld stage elder beside him, Su Chen, bring me the other set of information. Yes. Without needing Zhuo Kunlun's instructions, Su Chen already knew which set of information he was talking about. He immediately rummaged through the bookcase behind him, and a set of information was handed over to Jiasu and Bei Zhongguang. As Jiasu and Bei Zhongguang finished reading the information, their originally calm expressions gradually turned solemn. I've heard of the Life League, and I only know that they have a lot of influence overseas. It is said that they have a faint tendency to unify the East Sea. But because the Life League has only been established for a short period of time, I didn't pay much attention to them. I didn't expect them to have developed to such an extent in just a few years. 169 Spirit and Qi Uniting Stage Experts. 14 Blue Netherworld Experts. Almost half of the forces in the entire overseas are included in them. Bei Zhongguang was secretly shocked. The Life League has developed to such an extent? It's really unbelievable. Don't tell me that the two overlords of the sea, the Blood Dragon King and Lord Jinhai, just watch them develop. Jiasu's brows were tightly knitted together. Zhuo Kunlun looked at the two and couldn't help but shake his head. Bei Zhongguang, I remember that you've already roped in more than 20 forces, including more than 100 spirit and Qi Uniting Stage Experts. You even have 10 Blue Netherworld Stage Experts working for you. Even the many hall masters and elders in the sect are close to you. When Bei Zhongguang heard Zhuo Kunlun's words, he immediately humbly replied, this is all the elders, hall masters, and friends showing Zhongguang respect. Zhuo Kunlun's gaze fell on Jiasu again. During this period of time, your forces have also developed quite a bit. It is said that you've even established a small chaos organization. Especially after you've advanced to the Blue Netherworld stage, there were even Grand Elders who suggested to me whether we should begin to determine the future successor of the sect master. Zhuo Kunlun's words made Bei Zhongguang's heart clench slightly, while a faint joy appeared on Jie Su's face. It's all thanks to the sect master and the elders' love that Jie Su was able to reach this step. If the sect master and the elders hadn't stood their ground and given Jie Su a nature fruit and a Kun scale, allowing Jie Su to comprehend the various mysteries contained within the Kun scale after swallowing the nature fruit, Jie Su most likely wouldn't have reached the Blue Netherworld stage so quickly. You're a high-level son of chaos, and your cultivation has already reached the Blue Netherworld stage. You're also the only person in our Hunyuan Heaven sect who has cultivated divine-grade astral qi. Logically speaking, the position of sect master should belong to you, but... Zhuo Kunlun shook his head slightly. Your vision is too narrow, or rather, your ambition is too high. Apart from the 10 great sacred sects, you don't put any other heroes in your eyes. Zhuo Kunlun's words made Jie Su panic. He hurriedly said, Sect master, please instruct us. During this period of time, the create-evolved mysterious sect and the Jin Wu religion have been in constant conflict, and all the disciples have been in the Jin Wu religion region on behalf of our Hunyuan Heaven sect. As a result, we neglected our understanding of other aspects. If we've made a mistake, please instruct us. Seeing Jie Su being reprimanded by the sect master, Bei Zhongguang was secretly happy. Although the pressure on him had increased greatly after Jie Su had reached the Blue Netherworld stage, as long as Jie Su hadn't become the sect master of the Hunyuan Heaven sect, he still had hope of stepping onto the supreme throne. Your respective forces aren't small. Go back and properly investigate the Life Moon Alliance. Zhuo Kunlun didn't elaborate and just waved his hand. Bei Zhongguang and Jie Su exchanged a glance and understood that the problem was with the Life Moon Alliance. They bowed and left the sect master's study, and immediately sent people to investigate the Life Moon Alliance in detail. Sect master seems to be very dissatisfied with Zhongguang and Jie Su. The two little guys are so scared that they're very nervous. Not long after Bei Zhongguang and Jie Su left, a man and a woman walked over from the reception room behind the study with a smile. Elder Yuan He, Elder Qin Ran. Zhuo Kunlun nodded slightly at the two. To be able to make him, the sect master of the Hunyuan Heaven sect, personally nod his head, these two elders were naturally not ordinary elders, but supreme elders who had cultivated to the pinnacle of the immortality stage and could manifest the saint body. Sect master, your requirements for these two little guys are too high. Not to mention Zhongguang, but Jie Su, who has cultivated for less than 60 years, has cultivated divine-grade aura qi, and can enter the Blue Netherworld stage, is already extremely extraordinary. His future is limitless. At the very least, he won't be inferior to us. As for Zhongguang, although he is nearly 100 years old, the force he has built up over the years is not small. If he joins our Hunyuan Heaven sect, our foundation will be much stronger. Force? Limitless future. Zhuo Kunlun shook his head and directly handed the information that belonged to the Life Moon Alliance to the two elders. Elders, take a look. This is also the reason why I called the two elders over. Huh? Yuan He and Qin Zhen perused the information that Zhuo Kunlun handed over. A moment later, their expressions turned grave. The Alliance Master of the Life Moon Alliance, Xing Hui, is really a top figure. I have fought with the Blood Wyrm King before. I don't know where he got the opportunity to raise his chaotic level to the 10th stage. With the help of the divine art, even I couldn't take him down. Instead, he escaped and killed several juniors of our Hunyuan Heaven sect. King Zhenhai. Cho Xinghui actually subdued King Zhenhai. Compared to the tyrannical and reckless Blood Wyrm King, King Zhenhai is more rational and difficult to deal with. Cho Xinghui can subdue him, his strength must at least be at the level where King Zhenhai's divine art can't do anything to him. Otherwise, even if King Zhenhai subdued him, when he has the divine art, he will definitely wait for an opportunity to betray the Life Moon Alliance. After the two exclaimed, their gazes finally fell on Sect Master Zhuo Kunlun at the same time. Who is this Cho Tsinghui? Why haven't I heard of such a great expert who is comparable to the prominent saint sage in our eastern wilderness? Cho Tsinghui is indeed very amazing. Especially when I went to learn about his growth experience, I was even more shocked. It is said that Cho Tsinghui is not only a high-level son of chaos, but also a Duan Su. He has cultivated divine-grade Gang Qi and stepped into the Azure Nether stage. His battle strength is not weaker than any of the supreme elders of our Hunyuan Heaven sect. Hiss. Yuan He and Qin Zhen gasped. Which old man's disciple is he? He has cultivated divine-grade Gang Qi. And to the Azure Nether stage. If he can cultivate a divine-grade battle body, won't he soar to the sky? Disciple? If he's just a disciple, it'll be easier to deal with him. The problem is that Zhuo Qingxiu is only 23 years old. As soon as these words came out, Yuan He and Qin Zhen's faces changed greatly. Sect Master, is what you said true? He actually... Zhuo Kunlun nodded his head with a solemn expression. Before he was 18 years old, his cultivation was mediocre. He was like an ordinary person. However, for some unknown reason, he suddenly erupted. In just a few years, he cultivated his vital energy. After he went overseas, his cultivation improved by leaps and bounds. In just a few years, he managed to establish the Life Alliance's great foundation. He has also stepped into the green underworld realm. Before the age of 18, his cultivation was mediocre. Sect Master, you're saying that he used 5 years to cultivate divine-grade Gang Qi and step into the Azure Nether stage? Zhuo Kunlun nodded. When I first saw his information, I thought that he had obtained the inheritance of a high-level or even top-level son of chaos by chance. But later, the inheritance of a top-level son of chaos is inexplicable. Perhaps, as the Life Alliance's rumors say, he is actually the reincarnation of a powerful being. After being muddle-headed for 18 years, he finally awakened at the age of 18. Chapter 238. The Reincarnation of a Great Expert. Yuan He's eyes widened. Is there really such a thing as reincarnation? That's impossible. I've also been in the Chaos Temple, but I've never heard of anyone being able to reincarnate. Even the supreme experts of the saint stage are no exception. At most, they use the miraculous resurrection art to bring the dead back to life. Qin Zhen also had a look of disbelief on her face. There's no smoke without fire. Although we've never heard of reincarnation, it doesn't mean that such people don't exist. Just like in the Eastern Wasteland, there are no legends of the saint stage, but in Heaven Wasteland, saint stage experts do exist. Perhaps it's impossible to reincarnate with human strength, but don't forget about the Chaos Temple. Who knows what abilities the 35th stage of the Chaos stage has? Who knows if the Chaos Treasure Pavilion has a treasure that can keep one's true spirit from being destroyed and allow one to reincarnate? This. Hearing the sect master mention the Son of Chaos and the Chaos Treasure Pavilion, Yuan He and Qin Zhen didn't know how to respond. The Son of Chaos was a miracle in itself. Divine arts, divine protection, resurrection, and other divine arts far exceeded the imagination of cultivators like them. In addition, there were countless treasures in the Chaos Treasure Pavilion. Although the treasures that could be exchanged for were only reset once a year, it was very rare for the same treasures to appear. Who knew if there would be a new treasure that could keep one's true spirit from being destroyed and allow one to be reincarnated? Then sect master means. Haha, from the current situation, the Life Moon Alliance doesn't seem to have any hostility towards our Hunyuan Heaven sect. Not only that, but because of our Hunyuan Heaven sect's true disciple Nailan Fei, he is willing to join our Hunyuan Heaven sect by relying on the Qinglan Peak established by Nailan Fei and become an outer member of our Hunyuan Heaven sect. As such, we should make a good plan. Yuan He wore a thoughtful look. All the benefits on the mainland have been distributed. If our Hunyuan Heaven sect wants to expand again, we can only plunder territory from the other sacred sections. But this way, we will inevitably have conflicts with the other sacred sections. If we want to develop steadily, the only place we can develop is overseas. The Create Evolve Mysterious sect has always been managing overseas. Currently, they have built no less than 30,000 Gate of Fortune overseas. Moreover, they are still building several Gate of Fortune every year. If we develop our overseas forces, I'm afraid we will have to face the Create Evolve Mysterious sect directly. Qin Zhen, on the other hand, had some concerns. The Hunyuan Heavenly sect did not share a border with the Create Evolve Mystical sect. Hence, although there was competition between the two sects, it had yet to reach the point where one of them had to die. Once the two forces did share a border, there would definitely be endless conflict. Overseas is indeed the future direction of development. With the Life Moon Alliance, we already have an advantage over the other sections. If we want to truly bring the Life Moon Alliance into our hands, the key is their alliance master, Cho Tsing-hui. This is easy. As long as our Hunyuan Heaven sect offers him certain benefits to recruit him, I believe he will not refuse. If I'm not wrong, Cho Tsing-hui will also be recommended to join Sky Dome. Don't forget, he has cultivated divine-grade astral chi. Sky Dome, Yuan he frowned, but moments later, he coldly said, so what if it's Heaven Qiong? Our Hunyuan Heaven sect is currently a member of Sword Shadow, and we may not be afraid of Heaven Qiong. One should know that in terms of foundation and potential, our Sword Shadow is above Heaven Qiong in terms of combat ability. Sky Dome only accepted divine-grade astral chi cultivators. As for the Sword Shadow sect, only those who had reached the Saint stage were qualified to join. The target audience of the two was different, so their foundation and foundation naturally could not be compared. That may be the case, but this does not mean that we should provoke a colossus like Sky Dome for no reason. Moreover, the possibility that Cho Tsing-hui is the reincarnation of a great expert is extremely small, but what if, he is actually a reincarnation of a great expert? If we rashly offend him, once he recovers his cultivation and soars to new heights, it will not be a good thing for our entire Hunyuan Heaven sect. Zhuo Kunlun's words made the two elders fall into deep thought. In other words, we should focus on appeasing him. Zhuo Kunlun smiled and nodded. I plan to open another hall. This hall will be called the Sea Calming Hall, and it will be responsible for managing overseas affairs. Naylan Fei will also be the hall master of the Sea Calming Hall. Naylan Fei is only a true disciple of the Spirit Chi Unity stage. How can she be the hall master? Yuan he originally wanted to refuse, but a moment later, he seemed to think of something, and his eyes suddenly lit up. Sect Master wants to use Naylan Fei as a cover to indirectly control overseas affairs. Naylan Fei is the hall master, but she cannot leave the comfortable environment of our Hunyuan Heaven sect and go overseas. Then, there is only one person who can take on the role of the first deputy hall master. Cho Tsing-hui. This is a good idea. This way, we can slowly observe and see if Cho Tsing-hui is related to a great expert. Secondly, we can openly manage overseas affairs. Thirdly, we can also pave the way for the future development of our Hunyuan Heaven sect. Exactly. As expected of Sect Master, we will do as you say. Yes, the only problem is the Jin Wu religion and the Green Lotus Sword sect. The existence of the Create Evolve Mystical sect has separated the Sea region into the East Sea and the West Sea. In the East Sea, the only ones who own the Sea region are the Create Evolve Mystical sect, the Jin Wu religion, and the Green Lotus Sword sect. As for the West Sea, it is beyond our reach for the time being. Therefore, as long as we can convince the Jin Wu religion and the Green Lotus Sword sect not to attack the Sea Calming Hall, things will be much easier. The remaining Qiankuan sacred land and the 6 paths of God and demons are all inland sections. Even if they want to manage overseas affairs, they are powerless. This is easy to handle. I will make a trip. The Jin Wu religion is currently facing a severe attack from the Create-Evolve mystical sect and can barely fend for themselves. It is said that every Law Emperor level figure does not dare to go out easily without the eternal blazing Sunday. The Green Lotus Sword sect, on the other hand, is more than enough to defend themselves and cannot be considered a threat. It is great that Elder Yuanhe is willing to personally make a trip. Speaking of the Jin Wu religion and the Create-Evolve mystical sect, we cannot let the Create-Evolve mystical sect deal a heavy blow to the Jin Wu religion. Once the Jin Wu religion is forced to withdraw their defensive line or even be destroyed by the Create-Evolve mystical sect, we will have to face the Hunyuan Heaven sect directly. At that time, we will be in trouble. Our Hunyuan Heaven sect has only joined the Shadow Sword sect for a short time and our foundation is still too shallow. We are not ready to face the Create-Evolve mystical sect. We understand. The Jin Wu religion cannot have any problems in the next 3 to 5 years. If we want to deal a heavy blow to its vitality, we will have to completely digest the resources we exchanged from the Shadow Sword sect. Exactly. Zhuo Kunlun smiled and nodded. Full Moon Palace. Xing Hui was operating a set of fist techniques that only mortal martial artists could use in the courtyard, fully displaying the pure power in his body. After a while, he frowned slightly, faintly dissatisfied. It seems that the Dragon Beard Root's effect is not satisfactory because I have released my physical body too many times. In the morning, he had already consumed a body refining powder refined from the Dragon Beard Root. He wanted to use the medicinal power of the Dragon Beard Root to refine his body and strengthen his meridians. Unfortunately, the Dragon Beard Root, which was very effective for ordinary people, was not enough for him. Although there was an effect, it was only 1/3 of the normal effect. Although the effect is ordinary, the medicinal power of the Dragon Beard Root can be continuously stacked. If I can obtain enough Dragon Beard Root, it may be possible to continue to increase my physical strength. Xing Hui smiled. The strength of physical strength was not very useful in the cultivation world where genuine qi was rampant. Take Xing Hui for example. By releasing his physical body layer by layer, his physical strength was not weaker than that of a genuine qi expert. In addition, his cultivation had increased, and the qi of heaven and earth constantly washed his body, allowing him to fight against ordinary gang qi with his bare hands. However, compared to the power of genuine qi, this level of physical strength was not worth mentioning at all. Even if he released his physical body another 8 or 10 times, he would still die in the face of a green netherworld realm red sun gang qi. Refining the body could make the meridians tougher, have a higher tolerance, and be more malleable. However, the benefits brought by treasures of the same value could not be compared to the benefits of cultivating genuine qi. Alliance Leader. Xing Hui stretched his body a little, and Lingyu had already stepped into the courtyard with a smile. Just now, another genuine qi realm cultivator from Sapphire Island brought a Dao-carrying item with 2 Dao-carrying aura and exchanged it for a middle-grade level 5 divine weapon. Since we started offering anonymous exchanges, there have been more than 10 ordinary cultivators with Dao-carrying items in the past 10 days. Very good. Xing Hui also smiled. Including the Dao-carrying aura from the Blood Dragon King and Lord Zhenhai, the total number of Dao-carrying aura I have obtained in less than a month has exceeded 100. It has reached 101. With the 2 Dao-carrying aura today, it will be 103. Congratulations, Alliance Leader. Congratulations. However, I'm afraid that the Dao-carrying aura stored overseas has been used up after my round of plundering. In the next 10 years, the total amount of Dao-carrying aura I can obtain will probably not exceed the amount I obtained in a month. If I want to obtain more Dao-carrying aura, I have to continue expanding my territory. Continue expanding your territory? Ling Yu was slightly taken aback. She then said hesitantly, 1/3 of the entire Outer Sea is currently controlled by Ri Yuming. If we want to expand, there are only 2 options. One is to expand into the Outer Sea, and the other is to continue occupying other sea regions. However, if we continue to occupy other sea regions, we will definitely have to face the Eastern Wilderness No. 1 sect, the Create-Evolve mystical sect. With our current strength, if we dare to provoke such a colossus, the consequences will be unimaginable. 2 options. No. I think there's a third option, and that is the inland. A strange look flashed across Tsing Hui's eyes. If I'm not wrong, the Jin Wu religion in the inland seems to be in a difficult situation recently. Which one will be Tsing Hui's first target? Chapter 239. The Jin Wu religion situation was indeed as Tsing Hui had guessed. Ever since Tsing Hui had disguised himself as an expert from the Jin Wu religion and destroyed the Fortune Gate on Flying Snow Island, ruining the Fortune Gate's plan to enter the East Sea, the Fortune Gate had become extremely jealous of the Jin Wu religion. The Fortune Gate could be said to be invincible in the eastern wilderness. Even though the Limitless Sword Sect, Hunyuan Heaven Sect, Qiankuan Sacred Land, Jin Wu religion, Green Lotus Sword Sect, and other forces had secretly formed an alliance to resist the Fortune Gate, they were still at a disadvantage. The Fortune Gate's Green Netherworld and Vision Saint experts were almost comparable to the 9 great sects combined. Such a powerful force had lost face in front of the Jin Wu religion. How could the Fortune Gate be willing to accept this? In addition, the Hunyuan Heaven Sect had joined the Shadow Sword Sect, one of the 10 great chaos organizations, and had received a lot of funding from the Shadow Sword Sect. If they waited for 3 to 5 years to digest all the resources, the sect's power would definitely soar. At that time, they would be a great threat to the Limitless Sword Sect. However, the Fortune Gate did not share a border with the Hunyuan Heaven Sect. If they wanted to invade the Hunyuan Heaven Sect and suppress the Hunyuan Heaven Sect, they would have to pass through the Jin Wu religion or the Limitless Sword Sect. The Limitless Sword Sect was a tough nut to crack, and the Fortune Gate knew this. As such, they could only focus their attention on the Jin Wu religion. After more than a year, the Jin Wu religion had suffered heavy losses under the Fortune Gate's attacks. Even with the Limitless Sword Sect and Qiankuan Sacred Land secretly supporting them, the Jin Wu religion still found it difficult to breathe. They had lost dozens of law kings and elders. 3 months ago, one of the 14 Grand Elders had died, causing the entire Jin Wu religion to mourn. Today, a new piece of bad news once again enveloped the entire Jin Wu religion. Elder Qi Huang, in a magnificent meeting hall of the Jin Wu religion, Lai Wuyang's beautiful face was filled with sorrow. Qi Huang was the backer of Lai Wuyang and Law King Lai Ji. He was a Grand Elder who had cultivated to the late Vision Saint stage. Not only could he manifest his saint body, but he could also manifest his saint body for 4 times longer than a new stage Vision Saint stage cultivator. The death of such a Grand Elder was a heavy blow to the entire Jin Wu religion. At this moment, not only Lai Wuyang, but the other Dharma kings and supreme elders of the Golden Crow sect were also gathered here. At a glance, there were more than 100 law kings and Jin Wu religion experts present. In addition to the 6 Grand Elders present, as well as the Jin Wu religion's leader Zhu Xian, who was also at the Vision Saint stage, there were a lot of talents present. At the very least, the life alliance that Tsing Hui had formed after unifying the overseas regions could not compare to them. However, the meeting hall of the Jin Wu religion was filled with a sunset atmosphere. Our spies from the Jin Wu religion have already received news from the Create-Evolve Mysterious sect. I'm afraid that the Create-Evolve Mysterious sect really wants to completely destroy our Jin Wu religion to intimidate the other sacred sects. In these past few years, the alliance led by the Limitless Sword Sect against the Create-Evolve Mysterious Sect has grown stronger. Especially when the Hunyuan Heaven Sect joined the Shadow Sword Sect not long ago, the Create-Evolve Mysterious Sect felt a great threat. Once the Hunyuan Heaven Sect develops to a level that is not inferior to the Limitless Sword Sect, the Create-Evolve Mysterious Sect's obvious advantage over the other sacred sects will be completely destroyed. At that time, their sovereign status will be shaken. Therefore, the Create-Evolve Mysterious Sect must kill the chicken to warn the monkey. Zhu Xian said in a deep voice, "Unfortunately, our Jin Wu religion has become the Create-Evolve Mysterious Sect's first target. The Hunyuan Heaven Sect, the Limitless Sword Sect, and the Qiankuan Holy Land have no other reaction." Are they just going to watch as our Jin Wu religion is continuously eaten away? Vice Sect Master Luo Rieo stood up with a sorrowful expression. The Limitless Sword Sect wants to, but they are powerless. In order to prevent the Limitless Sword Sect from assisting the Jin Wu religion, the Create-Evolved Mysterious Sects Taoist Tian Ding, Taoist Golden Cicada, and 6 Grand Elders have personally come to the Burial Sword Terrace. Taoist Tian Ding. Taoist Golden Cicada. The crowd burst into an uproar when they heard Zhu Xian's words. Just like the Divine Dragon list overseas, there was also a list in the Eastern Wilderness. The Eastern Wilderness named it the Eastern Wilderness List. The list listed the top figures in the entire Tianhuang region. Taoist Tian Ding was ranked second on the list, second only to the Lifeless Sword Master of the Limitless Sword Sect. In addition, Taoist Golden Cicada was also ranked 8th on the list. Although he was ranked 8th, no ordinary Saint Stage expert could underestimate him. Even if the Limitless Sword Sect had always been the main force against the Create-Evolved Mysterious Sect, they still had to be extremely vigilant when facing these 2 top figures and 6 Saint Stage experts personally. We can't count on the Limitless Sword Sect, so we can only ask the Hunyuan Heaven Sect for help. We only hope that the Hunyuan Heaven Sect can provide us with enough help. If the Hunyuan Heaven Sect's Primordial Chaos Saint, who is ranked 4th on the Eastern Wilderness list, is willing to help. Impossible. Zhu Xian shook his head. Although the Xinshao Sword Sect also belongs to the camp against the Create-Evolved Mysterious Sect, they have been fighting with the Hunyuan Heaven Sect for a long time. If the Primordial Chaos Saint really dares to help, the Xinshao Sword Sect's Primordial Chaos Saint will definitely collude with the Create-Evolved Mysterious Sect's experts to kill him first before plotting against the Create-Evolved Mysterious Sect. This is also the reason why the Create-Evolved Mysterious Sect has been suppressing us to the point where we can barely breathe despite having the advantage in terms of Saint Stage battle power. Zhu Xian's words made everyone fall silent. Suppressing them, at the end of the day, it was because the 9 great sects were unable to cooperate wholeheartedly. Otherwise, no matter how powerful the Create-Evolved Mysterious Sect was, it would be difficult for them to withstand the combined might of the 9 great sections. Then what should we do? If this continues, the Jin Wu religion will face the risk of being destroyed. Many elders were deeply worried. We can't count on the Limitless Sword Sect for the time being, so we can only place our hopes on the Hunyuan Heaven Sect. If we only ask for help, the Hunyuan Heaven Sect may not sincerely send enough experts to rescue us. However, if the Jin Wu religion shows enough sincerity, before Zhu Xian could finish, a Grand Elder coldly snorted. Sect Master, the Hunyuan Heaven Sect also has wild ambitions. They are eyeing our Jin Wu religion like a tiger eyeing its prey. Do they really want the Jin Wu religion and the Create-Evolved Mysterious Sect to suffer great losses so that they can swallow our Jin Wu religion in one fell swoop and become a top faction on par with the Limitless Sword Sect? I understand. Therefore, we can make use of the Hunyuan Heaven Sect's ambition towards our Jin Wu religion and ask them to help us resist the Create-Evolved Mysterious Sect. Sect Master, what do you plan to do? The gazes of all the Grand Elders and Vice Sect Masters landed on Sect Master Zhu Xian. Everyone should know that the Hunyuan Heaven Sect's Hunyuan Sun, Jiasu, has broken through to the Green Netherworld stage not long ago, right? That's right. A Grand Elder nodded. Jiasu is a heaven's pride that the Hunyuan Heaven Sect has poured countless efforts into nurturing. Not only has he cultivated divine-grade astral chi, but he's also a high-level son of chaos. Now that he's reached the Green Netherworld stage, his battle power is not much inferior to us old fellows. It's said that he has already received the support of several Saint Stage ancestors. It's likely that such a Hunyuan Heaven Sect successor is foreseeable. Although the Hunyuan Heaven Sect hasn't officially announced this news due to Jian Ying's matter, I estimate that it won't be long before this day comes. Sect Master, you mean? Zhu Xian's gaze swept past the Grand Elders and Vice Sect Masters to land on Lai Wuyang. The Hunyuan Heaven Sect wants to annex our Jin Wu religion, so we'll give them the chance. If we're talking about disciples with unlimited potential who have cultivated divine-grade astral chi, our Jin Wu religion also has them. Zhu Xian's gaze also attracted the attention of all the elders. Some of the more quick-witted ones immediately thought of something. Sect Master, you mean, a marriage alliance? That's right. Let Wu Yang and Jie Su have a marriage alliance. Not long ago, Wu Yang obtained a treasure that raised her primal chaos level to the 9th level. Let's lend her a helping hand and give her the Tao-carrying items that the cult has accumulated, allowing her to become a high-level son of chaos with the bloodline of the Golden Crow and a cultivation base in the realm of unity of divine and Qi. With these identities, no one will doubt us when we promote her to a vice cult master. Vice Sect Master Luo Rieo, who was most likely to inherit the Jin Wu religion's Sect Master throne, immediately reacted. Sect Master, you mean to let the Hunyuan Heaven Sect think that our Jin Wu religion intends to fully support Saintess Wu Yang to become the future Sect Master, and then let her marry Jie Su? If the Hunyuan Heaven Sect wants to annex our Jin Wu religion, they will definitely support our Jin Wu religion through Saintess Wu Yang to fight against the create-evolved mysterious sect. This way, they won't have to worry about the backlash caused by their plan to annex our Jin Wu religion. That's right. Between a Jin Wu religion that has suffered heavy losses and a Jin Wu religion that can peacefully develop in their hands, the Hunyuan Heaven Sect will definitely choose the latter without hesitation. Zhu Xian said. As soon as these words came out, everyone immediately nodded in agreement. Obviously, they approved of Zhu Xian's plan. This matter depends on whether Wu Yang is willing or not. Zhu Xian's gaze fell on Lai Wu Yang. Unwillingness flashed across Lai Wu Yang's face, but she still stepped forward and lowered her head to hide her pain. I'm willing to follow Sect Master's orders. Good. Zhu Xian nodded heavily when he saw Lai Wu Yang agree. I've wronged you. Don't worry, our Jin Wu religion will definitely not treat you unfairly in the future. Sect Master, in fact, Jie Su will annex the Jin Wu religion through Wu Yang. Why can't Wu Yang use Hunyuan Heaven Sect through Jie Su? You should know that since ancient times, even heroes have a weakness for the charms of beautiful women. Wu Yang is the most outstanding disciple of our Jin Wu religion. If we can bewitch Jie Su, the future sect master of the Hunyuan Heaven Sect, and make him listen to us, perhaps. A hall master stepped forward and suggested. His words made the eyes of the various elders and hall masters light up. Although this method is rather difficult, it does not mean that there is no hope. Everything will depend on Wu Yang's methods. Zhu Xian stared at Lai Wu Yang as he spoke. There's no time to lose. We'll send someone to the Hunyuan Heaven Sect. Our sect will give you the greatest support. Wu Yang, although this matter is rather difficult, whether our Jin Wu religion can maintain its vitality under the attack of the create-evolved mysterious sect or even use the Hunyuan Heaven Sect will depend on your methods. Yes. Lai Wu Yang lowered her head and responded. Seeing Lai Wu Yang's downcast mood, Law King Lai Ji could only console her. Jie Su is young, but he has already cultivated divine-grade astral qi to the Qingming stage. In addition, he has the identity of a high-level son of chaos. He is the most outstanding young genius of our eastern wilderness. The marriage between the two of you will not be a disgrace to you. The most outstanding young genius? Hearing her father's words, for some reason, the little thief who had repeatedly forced her to snatch the great sun Golden Crow art from her appeared in her mind. If they were talking about the most outstanding young genius, that little thief was likely even better than Jie Su, right? Chapter 240. Hunyuan Heaven Sect's Guest Reception Peak. An old man with a cultivation base of the blue underworld stage was leading several deacon-level figures of the Hunyuan Heaven Sect to wait at the airport. Along the way, many disciples and deacons of the Hunyuan Heaven Sect were slightly stunned when they saw this scene. They bowed to the old man from afar and then quickly retreated. The deputy hall master of the guest reception hall, Lord Yuzhen, personally came to welcome us. Could it be that some big shot is coming to our Hunyuan Heaven Sect? For disciples, 2 men and 2 women, who had just returned, gathered together and looked at hall master Yuzhen who was quietly waiting for them. Their hearts were full of curiosity. Yun Bai, your master, Lord Lin Song-yun, is the favorite of Peak Master Xian Yu. He must be well informed. Have you heard of anything important happening in our Hunyuan Heaven sect today? A young and lively girl with a ponytail asked a pair of brother and sister who looked quite similar. Xiao Yu, it's not like you don't know. We are only one of the 40 disciples under Master. We haven't even entered the awakening realm. How can we have too much time to serve Master? This kind of news is related to the Hall Master level. How can we know? The male disciple, Yun Bai, shook his head. Speaking of big events, the biggest thing in our Hunyuan Heaven sect should be Senior Sister Nalan's peak ceremony. Senior Sister Nalan is really a legendary figure in our Hunyuan Heaven sect. She has only been in the Hunyuan Heaven sect for 20 years, but she has cultivated from an ordinary person to the Spirit Chi unification realm. At her current age, her future is bound to be limitless. As long as she can enter the Blue Underworld stage as soon as possible and become the Deputy Sect Master of our Hunyuan Heaven sect, there is a great hope for her to compete for the Sect Master's throne. Another male disciple said with a tone of envy. It's a pity that our cultivation base is too weak. We haven't even reached the awakening realm. We don't even have the qualifications to rely on Senior Sister Nalan. Otherwise, we would take advantage of this opportunity to join Senior Sister Nalan. After Senior Sister Nalan soars into the sky, the benefits we get are simply immeasurable. Xiao Yu was also regretful. It is said that half a month ago Senior Sister Zhuo Yunqing had cultivated her true energy. Moreover, it is rare that she has cultivated wholly true energy. She has begun to recruit people with the support of Senior Sister Nalan in order to prepare for the future. We are all leaders of the blood transformation realm. Xiao Yu and Yun, both of you have undergone blood transformation twice, so your chances of awakening your bloodline have greatly increased. If you join Senior Sister Zhuo Yunqing, then she will give you some treasures as rewards to help you awaken your bloodline and enter the immortal realm. You will be able to enjoy endless glory and wealth. The man's face was full of excitement as he spoke. Yun and Xiao Yu were also restless. Junior brother Tan Bo, what you said makes sense. Senior Sister Nalan was also a true energy cultivator when she was not famous. She also stepped into the spirit refining realm and was valued by Senior Sister Nalan. Now that we have joined Senior Sister Zhuo Yunqing, maybe in the future we will be like Senior Sister Lan Yu, who joins Senior Sister Nalan and become influential figures in the sect. Yes, the opportunity cannot be missed. Let's not delay any longer. The four of them discussed for a while and turned to leave. At this moment, Yu Zhen, the guest welcoming hall master who had been quietly waiting, seemed to have finally seen the person he had been waiting for. He couldn't help but lean forward slightly. At the same time, at the end of the sky, a huge void battleship was rapidly approaching. Under the leadership of an elder who was flying on a sword, it landed at the center of the square. As the battleship approached, many disciples and deacons of the Hunyuan Heavenly Sect couldn't help but exclaim, "What a huge battleship!" This battleship is 200 meters long and 50 meters tall. It's almost the same size as a palace. In our Hunyuan Heavenly Sect, except for the Grand Elders, even the Deputy Sect Master level figures don't necessarily have such an amazing honor. Could it be that a Grand Elder of another sacred sect has come to pay a visit? Yun Bai, Xiao Yu, and the others, who had originally planned to leave, were also attracted by the large battleship. The value of the most ordinary battleship is comparable to a rank 3 divine weapon. This battleship is so big and magnificent. If it was exchanged for a rank 3 divine weapon, it would be worth hundreds or thousands. Heavens, if someone is willing to give me a rank 3 divine weapon, I will do anything. Such a luxurious battleship has arrived. It must be a real big shot. No wonder even the guest hall master Yuzhen personally came. I just don't know what kind of expert has come. The four people discussed incessantly. At the same time, they craned their necks to look at the battleship. None of them wanted to miss such a lively scene. A moment later, a group of people finally came down from the giant battleship to open a path and quickly stood guard on both sides. These people all had powerful qi and extraordinary auras. In particular, the two guard captains at the front had divine light flowing in their eyes. Some of the more knowledgeable Hunyuan heavenly sect deacons and disciples exclaimed, "It's a spirit and qi unity stage expert." A spirit and qi unity stage expert can only open a path as a guard? Where did this big shot come from? Look at the emblem on the battleship. It doesn't belong to any of the 10 great sacred sections. It doesn't even belong to Wanxiang City, Heavenly Medicine Alliance, Alchemy Valley, Martial God Tower, or other factions. What a grand display. Even our Hunyuan Heavenly Sect's Hall Master level figures can't compare to this. No wonder Hall Master Yuzhen personally came to greet them. All kinds of exclamations and discussions rang out. Amidst the crowd's exclamations, a young man in green clothes came down from the battleship under the protection of 4 men and women with extraordinary auras. Immediately, Yuzhen stepped forward and warmly conversed with the 5 of them. Looking at the 5 people who came down from the battleship, especially the leader of the 5, Yun, who was chatting with Xiao Yu and the others, seemed to have recognized him. Her eyes suddenly widened. "Brother, look at that person. Doesn't that person look like Cho Tsing-hui from Cloud Desolate City's Zhuo family who made a big mistake and fled overseas?" Cho Tsing-hui. Yun's words made Yun Bai slightly startled. His eyes immediately sized up the man in green clothes. A moment later, his eyes also revealed astonishment. "It really looks like him. But this person is definitely not Cho Tsing-hui. Cho Tsing-hui offended our Hunyuan Heavenly Sect's core disciple. It is said that he fled overseas and might have died overseas. What kind of character is this green-clothed young master in front of us? To be able to make Hall Master Yuzhen personally come to greet him, how could Cho Tsing-hui have such ability?" But according to the news from Luo Lin Kingdom, Cho Tsing-hui had returned to Luo Lin Kingdom a few years ago and brought a few experts with him. Among them, there was no lack of spirit-refining cultivators. It can be seen that he is doing extremely well overseas. Could it be? Before Yun finished speaking, she was interrupted by Yun Bai. "How could it be? Didn't you hear the shouts of the other senior brothers and deacons? Those who are responsible for opening the way are all elders of the spirit and qi unity realm. Even if Cho Tsing-hui is doing well overseas, how could he command the elders of the spirit and qi unity realm? And even let them pave the way for him like subordinates? How could it be? Cho Tsing-hui. I think I've heard of this person before. Isn't he Zhuo Qingxiu, the one who caused a commotion between Senior Sister Nailin and Elder Zhuri after Lan Yutong stole his entry token and joined Elder Zhuri? It is that Cho Tsing-hui. Impossible. According to the storm caused by this matter, Cho Tsing-hui should be at the level of an ordinary mortal a few years ago. In just a few years, he can actually make the spirit and qi unity realm experts pave the way for him. Could it be that he has become the last disciple of one of the 10 great sacred sects patriarchs? Xiao Yu saw that everyone was guessing and said directly, "If you want to figure out whether this Cho Tsing-hui is that Cho Tsing-hui, it is not easy. Let's follow and see. If he came for Senior Sister Naylin's peak assembly, he must be that Cho Tsing-hui. If not, then it can only be that the two look similar and recognize the wrong person." Yes, let's follow and see, Yun echoed, and at the same time, her tone was a little excited. "If it is really that Cho Tsing-hui, strictly speaking, we have traveled with him in the past," but she couldn't help but think of the past when she traveled with Cho Tsing-hui. However, when she thought of the final result of this past, her flaunting heart stopped abruptly. But what? Xiao Yu and others were listening, but the result was that there was no follow-up, so they couldn't help but ask. Nothing, let's follow and see." Yun shook her head quickly. Yun Bai on the side naturally understood the reason why Yun's words stopped abruptly just now. For a moment, she couldn't help but secretly regret. Especially when she thought of Cho Tsing-hui's prestige a few years ago when he returned to the Lorraine Kingdom with many true qi and spirit refining masters, she was even more annoyed. If they knew that Cho Tsing-hui was so promising, when he was chased by Yuan Yang sent by Erisher Yudo, they should have listened to Yun Tong and protected Cho Tsing-hui. With such a life-saving grace, after Cho Tsing-hui soared, their Yun family would naturally follow suit. It wouldn't be difficult for them to develop into the #1 family in the Lorraine Kingdom. Unfortunately, now it was too late to say anything. Tsing-hui didn't know that when he led the elites of the Life League into the Hunyuan Heaven sect, he would meet a few acquaintances on this welcoming peak. However, even if he knew acquaintances like Yun Yun and Yun Bai, he wouldn't go over to greet them. The Cloud Forest Towers fleet gave him a ride, and after he paid the fare, the two sides no longer had anything to do with each other. At this time, he was led by Yu Zhen to the Hunyuan Peak in the center of the Hunyuan Heaven sect. There, the sect master of the Hunyuan Heaven sect, Zhuo Kunlun, would personally summon him, the leader of the Life League from overseas. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.